Oh, welcome in, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. Welcome to our personal meat locker. It is butt cold in here, and I mean butt cold. My hands are numb. It's like 63 degrees in the studio this morning. Going to keep us awake, man. Good morning, everybody. Good to have you here. You are listening to the Ben and Woods program on 97.3, The Fan. Let's get our heads right today. It's going to be a challenge based on the comments in the chat already. I'm with you guys, man. I'm like Gordon Gekko. I don't like losses, sport. I do not like losses, but they happen in the course of 162. We'll talk about last night and probably hear me admit, yes, in fact, the Nationals did win that trade. And that's how it's going to be. But we have a lot of time to talk about it. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He is the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
I guess that would make me Brad Pitt a la Billy Bean. I hate losing. I hate losing more than I want to win. Yeah. And there's a difference.
There is a difference. There's a huge difference.
I love that quote in that movie.
It's a great one. It's a great one. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Do you have a fancy movie quote for us this morning that encapsulates your feelings?
No, just flush it and move on.
Flush it,
yeah,
move
flush
on.
it and move on.
Yeah. Typical page shill. That's what I was expecting this morning. It's a bummer. I wanted you to bring some heat, some fire. It's quiet in here this morning.
I have the
turd
polishing ready.
Oh, yes. It has been a quiet morning in here. I got in at 4 because I got up at 1:30. Feel great, by the way. The issues that I was having seemingly have ceased.
Well, that's some good news.
That's great news. I feel, feeling myself yesterday when I got home was like kind of waiting, cautiously. When's it going to arrive? And it never did. And that makes me feel good. And so I finally was able to get some protein down for dinner. I had some panko chicken and rice, and it was outstanding. We got it from Sushi Lounge, got it delivered, housed that. And because I haven't eaten anything but soup and applesauce and stuff. Do you know how good that tasted last night? Do you want to say something? Go ahead.
I just want to caution you.
Right now.
I want to caution you because sometimes the progression is not linear.
I didn't go straight to like curry. You know what I mean?
In the words of Winston Wolfe, if you want a movie quote. Oh, wait, I can't say that.
Let's not go.
I can't say that one on the air.
Blanking each other's blank just yet. No, it's why I didn't. I wasn't like, let's go. Let's get burritos and spicy tacos.
But I'm glad you seem to be on on the backside of your my backside issues.
My backside issues. I felt it was like there's no spice to panko chicken at all. It's just that crusted chicken and plain white rice. Crushed it. Was like, man, that tasted fantastic. Had a banana. Again, to make sure. They said the banana is very important. It bonds things, So I did that, and I felt weak, because I haven't eaten a ton in the last week. Now, again, I'm down 8 pounds, 8 pounds since last Monday, which is crazy. And as we were walking out yesterday, Ben goes, "I'm actually a little jealous." Because you wanted to do something before our trip to Philly.
Does anybody else do this? So you're going on vacation. Part of the vacation is going to be sampling the delicacies of the city in which you are visiting. And the delicacies of Philadelphia, let's be honest here, are high-calorie delicacies.
How did you gain all the weight?
I went to Philly.
Cheesesteaks, pretzels, Italian food.
Roast pork.
Meat. Yeah, pork. It's going to be
pastrami, all sorts of meats. It's going to
be, let's just say the folks at sdfatloss.com, they might need to go back after we return. But you can always do the before your trip, see if you can take off a couple, like have a really good week, eat well, see if you can shed a couple of pounds before you go crazy on your vacation, so that when you get back on vacation and inevitably have packed on a couple of lbs, that you just get back to where you were originally, and you're not like, now I'm back, now the vacation's over, now I've got to put in a ton of hard work at the gym, and I got to eat right for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks to undo all the damage I've done. So I like to see if I can lose a little bit, or at least feel like I've been a little healthy this week before we go to Philadelphia.
Yeah, my pre-work is done. 8 pounds in a week is done. And it's not the way that I wanted to get the summer bod, which I still don't have, obviously, but it's better. I'm closer, 8 pounds closer. Now I'm sitting here going, do I want to undo all this hard work that I've done? Which wasn't much. It was not much, but I got a little jump start on it. I'll be back. I'm going back to the gym today for the first time in like 10 days, 11 days. And going to try to get back in the routine. But man, woke up this morning, was like, I feel pretty good, except for the fact that it was 1:30 a.m. and I couldn't go back to sleep. And I got up and I actually made some eggs and had some fruit, had some coffee, and was like, all right. And I walked out the door at like 3:30. And my wife's like, you going in now? I go, what am I going to do? I can't sleep. What do you want me to do? I wrote my boys a little note on the way out the door and came to work and was sitting at this desk at 4:01. I was like, what is happening? So it's going to be a long day. It was a long night last night watching that game. It was pretty miserable. We will talk about it today, certainly. But yeah, man, it's you don't want this week to turn into a real grindy week with the San Diego Padres and put themselves behind the 8 ball a little bit, losing the first game of the series. Now you got to win the next 2 to win a series that you absolutely need to win. I do see the panic online every night. Probably should be less online, to be honest, but I see the panic, sell after one loss. And it's like, all right, I get it. They're not playing super great right now. And I think a lot of us still have a lot of belief in this team. Maybe it's foolish naivete. I have no idea. But I still believe that there's better baseball ahead for the San Diego Padres, but they are some pieces short. There's no question.
I guess, fan however you want to fan.
Sure.
I would recommend not treating every game during the season like a game 7 because you're not going to make it.
Yeah, you won't make it. It's tough. It eats your
Last
stomach.
night sucked. Season's not over.
Yeah,
it's still early. It's just literally the season's not over. It was one game.
Yeah. I was down there before the game. I mean, everything seemed fairly normal. Actually, speaking of our trip, I was chatting with a number of the folks who cover the team to see who is going to be there in Philadelphia next week while we're there. AJ Cassavell is going to be there.
Nice.
I didn't realize he's from that area.
Mm-hmm.
He grew up Pennsylvania near Philadelphia, so he considers Citizens Bank Park one of his top 10 ballparks.
Oh, I would hope
in the country.
So.
Really,
top 10.
Really thinks it's a good spot to go watch a game. Thinks we're going to have a lot of fun. So we'll probably see him there. But he also regaled me with his stories of his trip that he just went on, which was pretty cool. He went to Omaha for the College World Series.
Saw that.
Went for a couple of days, and he said, if you ever get a chance to go to Omaha for the College World Series, take it. He has a buddy who lives in Omaha, but he's about to move, and he thought, I'm just going to do it. You know what? I'm not going to wait. I've been wanting to do this for, pretty much my whole life. So he just bit the bullet, took a couple of days off, quick trip. He said he was just there for like 2 days, went to 3 games, ended up hanging out with a lot of the Oregon State folks. So there's this bar. You've probably seen it online at the College World Series in Omaha. And they cater to all the visiting fans every time that 8 teams come in every year. And what they do is they keep a running total. They do Jell-O shots, and you buy however many Jell-O shots you buy. They track per team, like how many Jell-O shots each team's fan base consumes. So
like Coastal Carolina took down the most Jell-O shots.
Right.
This
week.
week.
Yeah, AJ said they did some for the Oregon State crew, but then the Arkansas people came in and just ordered trays and trays of Jell-O shots.
Great.
It was just, but it sounds like just an amazing kind of fun atmosphere. And he said it was a really good experience.
I got to go in high school to old Rosenblatt Stadium. They've redone it. It's a little bit different now. I haven't been. I'm sure it's fantastic. It's like the Waste Management Open meets the World Series. It's baseball, but it's a party. It is so much fun. I understand it's a little bit lower on the pecking order. College baseball is as far as major sports that we all watch and follow. If your school's ever there, or even if you don't have a rooting interest and you still want to go, highly recommend.
Yeah, it looks fun. I'm trying to think. Once you said that, Paulie, it's pretty far down. I don't know why. I don't
either.
I love baseball, but it's pretty far down on the list of like sports experiences. I've been to a lot. I've gotten to do a lot of cool stuff. There's no doubt. It's not on my bucket list, and maybe it should be. Maybe I could reevaluate.
I don't think it's on a lot of people's bucket
Yeah,
lists. It wasn't on my. I didn't know. I had nothing, no expectations.
Don't take offense. Does it have to do that it's in Omaha?
No, it's 100%.
All right, maybe that's it. If it was somewhere else, I'd be maybe more apt.
Yeah,
it's like the Field of Dreams field. I've always wanted to see it. I'm not going to Iowa.
Dyersville, Iowa.
Right.
Next time I'm in Dyersville, Iowa, I will happily cruise over.
I'll say this:
take the tour.
If I'm ever 3 hours or less away from Dyersville, I will go. Period. The end. But I don't know. Like, I really want to see it.
Your next radio conference in Des Moines.
Right.
You may make the trip over to Dyersville.
I really want to see it. I really want to see it someday. I want to take my kids there. They love that movie. They still love that movie. They watch it all the time. And they don't get it. They don't understand it, but they friggin' love it. And so every time I look at it, I go, I got to get there. That is like, in my mind, I'm going to Manchester, England in a few weeks to go see Oasis reunite. That trip makes more sense in my head than ever going to Dyersville. You know what I mean? Like, which is much closer, much less expensive. But this one actually makes sense in my brain, flying all the way across the world to go see this band. That makes more sense to me than going to Dyersville, Iowa, or even Omaha, Nebraska.
Well, and you've been to Kansas, Wichita.
I have, many times.
I've never been like the middle states: North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, Oklahoma, Wyoming, and you realize, I mean, they're all part of this country, but a very different, obviously environment than either of the coasts. I mean, the West Coast and the East Coast are pretty different, but I think they're more similar than like the internal part of our country, and probably would be good if all of us got to experience, like people who lived in the middle of the country got to experience a little more of the coasts, and the coast got to experience a little more of the middle of the country. We might be able to relate to each other a little bit more, but yeah, it's hard to get to. You have to make a commitment if you want to go to somewhere like Dyersville, Iowa, or Omaha, Nebraska. It's not on the way.
Well, I mean, there's so many of those states. Like, I lived in Chicago. There's no reason to go to Illinois unless you go to Chicago. If you end up in any other part of Illinois other than Chicago, you're like, oh my God, this is kind of a dump. Indiana. I go to Indiana to go to Notre Dame. That little tiny jewel.
Yeah.
Indianapolis is horrible. I
went to Indianapolis once. It was it was good for like a day or two, but didn't want to be there forever.
Listen, I had the greatest night of my life in Indianapolis, and that any man's ever had. And I still say it's one of the worst cities I've ever been to. I had the best night that any man has ever had in his life ever in Indianapolis, and I will still tell you.
I've heard the story.
It's a true story.
I can verify.
Yeah, Paulie can vouch for it. I cannot share it on the radio. I would get in a lot of trouble multiple ways, but it's the greatest night of my life. It happened in Indianapolis, but I would never go back for anything. So yeah, the flyover states, as it were. And I wonder when I hear like guys like AJ Caswell, who, by the way, what does he do for a living? He covers 162 Padres games, right? I see Jake and Jordan from Cespedes Family Barbecue. They're watching KBO games and Japanese games, and they're watching college baseball. And then I'm sitting here going, do I not love baseball as much as I think I do? Because all of that stuff to me, I go, oh my God, how do they do it? It would drive me crazy. It's too much.
AJ asked, and a couple people asked, because we were talking about the trip, and he said, so is the station paying for you to go and do your show there? And we go, no, we're going on our own.
Yeah.
Said, that's kind of
Paulie.
That's kind of a vacationing. That's kind of doing work while you're on vacation if you're going to go to a Padres game. But we don't consider that part of the job work to go to a Padres game.
I bought us tickets. We are fans.
Yeah, we are totally fans for the trip. We're not doing work for the station. Now, we'll have great content to bring back, which will be fantastic when we return. But while we're there, that's for us. And he goes, well, and then he said, but I said, you went to the College World Series. He said, this is the first time, he said, I have drank beer at a baseball game in over 10 years.
Makes sense because he's always
working. And he said, it is a great experience. He said, the big giant cans for $10. He said, you don't get those prices at Major League Baseball stadiums. He said, I had a fantastic time getting away. It was baseball. It's what he does every single day and covers it, but he got to enjoy it from a whole different perspective that he hadn't really done since, he was basically a kid. AJ's not that old. So 10 years without going to a baseball game, having a beer, a brewski, and watching the game like a normal person, because he's always been working at all these games.
Yeah, Alex in the chat says, what a degenerate. A night of sexual depravity is greater than anything he's done with his wife or children. So sad. How did you know, Alex? Did I say that live on the radio? I didn't say that. But how did he know? Interesting. Alex doesn't like me very much and always has a lot to say. But nobody knows who he is. Oh. So it happens, buddy.
Who's Alex?
He's Alex. Welcome, man. It's good to have you here. Thanks so much for listening every day.
He must really love Ben to still listen every day for how much he hates you.
Okay, hold on. That is something that I've absolutely heard before, that people try to make you feel guilty about, having, like when you say, oh, what was the best day of your life? Well, it better be the day your kids were born the wedding day.
Anybody that knows me knows how I feel about my kids.
Of course. The actual day, like the moment it's a very special moment. The actual process, certainly for your wife or the mother of your child who's giving birth, it's not that fun. It's stressful.
It's one of the most stressful days.
It's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone can really fairly say that was the best day of their life. Now, did it give you something that you treasure, your children that you absolutely love? Yes, but that's the process of them growing up, and you love them and you care for them and nurture them. The actual day, I didn't love that day.
I didn't either.
I don't think, does anyone really do it? But they always say it. Oh yeah, other than the day my children was born, this was the best day of my life. The day your children were born it was not a good day.
So I'll tell you about the day Bo was born. And I'll never forget.
And why do we have to pretend that it is?
Well, I mean, I was, all I ever wanted to be was a father. That's it. I just wanted to be a dad. Finally got it. Emergency C-section, cords wrapped around his neck. They come in panicking. My dad's in hysterics. I'm in hysterics. My wife's in hysterics, scared to death. Problem was, she went in labor at 7:30 in the morning. This is about, I think, maybe like 6. No, she went to labor the day before, and we stayed in the hospital that night. And her friend, Elise, what's that place across from Scripps that's plant food? It's right across.
Oh, yeah. It's not Plant Power. Is it Plant Power?
Yeah. So
Sweet Greens?
No, it's Plant Power.
Plant Power, yeah.
She brought in a bag of Plant Power into the hospital room. I can still taste it. I didn't eat it, but I can still taste it in my mouth. I'll never forget the smell, like deep fried plant.
Yeah. And
she was eating it in front of me, and I was like, oh my God. It reeks. It smells so bad. It's like somebody bringing fries in. And Hannah's kind of nauseous about it. I'm nauseous. We're nervous. Well, then we go through the night. She doesn't give birth, and I sleep on the floor that night. And that was not great. And then the next day, the emergency C-section, cord wrapped around his neck. You're panicked and all that. Yeah, it was awesome when he came out. But then, you have a whole new set of stressors. Like, how do I pay for this guy? What do I do with this guy? What am I supposed to do here?
How do I hold them? How do I do this? How do I do that? It's a stressful.
It is. It's very stressful.
Really not fun day at all.
And listen, the night I'm referring to in Indianapolis, way less stressful. Way less stressful. Massively. It doesn't
make you a bad person to enjoy something
stressful.
that is just pure fun.
Oh yeah.
And doesn't have hopefully any long-term consequences.
Nope,
just
no long-term consequences.
A great night of fun. Having a child, that is the most long-term consequences you're going to have. That is a lifetime of responsibility, and again, wonderful love, and again, wouldn't trade it for anything.
No, for anything.
That day is not the best day of my life.
Yeah.
And I think my wife would probably agree as well.
No, Janine, they did not let her eat. Her friend came in with food, and she was eating it in the room. And every time I drive by there, I go, I can smell you. I can smell you. I can taste.
And I'll throw in, and I know we have to check traffic. I'll throw in your wedding day is extremely stressful. Mine
was so easy.
Yours, I'm glad. And so was mine. Wasn't bad at all, but Again, it's kind of a stressful day. You're nervous the whole day long. You've got all kinds of people that you probably haven't seen coming in for this big, giant event that you're the center of attention. It results in something great, obviously, that you've been looking forward to, and it's a party and it's fun. But there's a lot of stress that goes on with those days.
It is a ton. And guess what? The best part about having kids, it never ends. It never, ever ends. Every day my cheese sucks is what you get. So thank you, Alex.
All right, let's check traffic.
Thanks
we will set the menu for some of the things we'll be talking about on the program today, in addition to the game last night. Coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Islands Restaurants. Seeing a lot of slowing on northbound 805 from 43rd up to just before University. Fire crews just put out a brush fire over to the right shoulder. They had the 2 right lanes blocked. They're out of there now. Great job. But I'm still seeing some residual. Once you're past University, you should be okay, though. We now have reports of a 2-vehicle accident on the coastline, South 5 near Basilone. That's over to the right shoulder. Big on protein, rich on flavor. The new $10 Islands Restaurants protein bowls are here for a limited time. Packed with over 40 grams of protein and stacked with fresh ingredients for the flavors you love, just in a bowl. Find your protein paradise at islandsrestaurants.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gary in the chat says, is Ben taking school pictures today? You do look nice.
Should I unbutton one?
Yeah, I'll unbutton them both.
All right.
Both. Let it flow.
It's a little low for both. What's wrong with what I'm wearing?
You look great.
You
look great.
I got to be TV presentable now when
true.
I come in to work in the morning. I got a bunch of things to do today, interviews to conduct. I got a story. We'll talk about it coming up. First, we'll get into the game last night, but we will talk about the lawsuit that Fernando Tatis Jr. filed in Superior Court of San Diego against Big League Advance. We've discussed the story before.
Forgot about those guys.
The money that Fernando took as a 17-year-old before his baseball career really got off the ground, in exchange for a percentage of his future earnings. Many ball players have done this, especially ones from Latin American countries. And now Tatis reportedly, owes this company at least, $34 million out of his $340 million contract for the money that he took as a kid. And he has filed a lawsuit against this company alleging deceptive business practices. And we can talk about it. I did go ask Fernando about it along with the group. He didn't really comment on it, said he's going to let the lawyers and the case kind of play out, but we'll discuss it. I got so much response on my social media feeds from people on both sides of this going, hey, good for Fernando standing up for all these players. And like, dude, Fernando, you signed the deal. Yeah. You got to live up to the terms now. I mean, I've never seen, I think, an issue that had such divided, polar opposite opinions from the same fan base.
The funniest part of the press release was, if you would like to interview Fernando Tatis Jr., please contact me and I will set up an interview. I'm like, how does that work? So he didn't want to comment.
He did not want to comment.
Did you not set it up?
No, I'm going to be talking to one of the lawyers today for my story, though, and maybe get some more details from him. But yeah, I got 3 different versions of no comments from Fernando. Wasn't surprised. Actually, Craig Huner, who's the great PR guy for the Padres, I saw Fernando walking in, and everyone's kind of looking.
Everyone's going, oh, no.
Craig intercepts him, pushes him back, gets a little huddle. Fernando comes, no comments. I go, Craig, good last-minute coaching, coach.
Yeah,
and he
got
goes,
in there.
Yep, that's the job right there. And I said, yep, we know what you did right there. You warned him what was coming, if he didn't already know, and made sure that he was prepared for the questions that he was about to receive.
Yeah,
now he's not getting sued. He's the one that
he's doing the
feels
suing.
like he's been wronged, and we can debate the entire situation in that lawsuit that was filed. I don't think it's going to be a giant distraction for the Padres, but for a day or so, it'll certainly be a story, and then the case will proceed as it is. We have on Tuesday, of course, Jesse Agler will join us, the Incorporator, at 8:35. Talk with Jesse, voice of the Padres, and give him his word for tonight's game against the Washington Nationals. Plus our regular features, Don't Do This, Take on Woods, and the Reindl Report coming up in our 9 o'clock hour. So let's get started with the program. We'll jump in with our Padres unfortunate crap up from last night's game against the Washington Nationals. Pitching fell apart in the middle innings, no doubt about that. Padres were unable to come back in a 10-6 loss last night. That is next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
But first, let me tell you about my beloved Eco Water. Been telling you about Eco Water for a long time. I will tell you about Eco Water as long as they'll have me. Honestly, huge fan of the product, and we have the system in our home, and you too can have the system in your home. You could try the Soft Life alkaline water now, just $9.95 a month. 20 years ago or something, I had heard the first time of alkaline water and the benefits that it provides to you. And I said, oh, okay, I can get behind this. And you can absolutely taste the difference. You can feel the difference. Everybody is happy. That's how you know it's a winner in your house. If every single person loves it, they love it. They talk about, my 7-year-old loves it, thinks it's the best thing since sliced bread. And sliced bread is very good, but it's not as good as Eco Water. So check them out today by calling 760-350-3338. Or you can go to ecowatersocal.com. Let them know Woodsy sent you over there. They will take good care of you. The system, they come in, they put it in, they maintain it. It doesn't really need maintenance. They've come out one time in like almost 3 years just to check the system. That was it. Everything else, it's been so seamless and great. And it does wonders for your home's pipes and plumbing, appliances, everything else. So it's a no-brainer, guys. Again, 760-350-3338. Go to ecowatersocal.com. Not everything in life should be hard, especially your water. Keeping it soft since 1925.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place. Hey players, things are...
Well, Ben, somebody in Sammy Levitt's chat last night, post-game, said, Ben and Woods will shine the turd tomorrow. So here is your opportunity to shine said turd from last night's game. Paulie?
I will once again give a fair and reasonable analysis.
No. Nobody wants
of
reasonable.
Last night's game. That will be that will include both positives and negatives, as every game does. There are wins that have plenty of negatives. There are losses that have some positives. Isn't that reasonable? Am I the one that's crazy?
I think so.
No one wants reason.
They want you mad. Just sell.
I sometimes am more mad about wins than I am about losses. If I
really
feel like they're not.
I don't really get mad about wins. I'm of the opinion of, hey man, I do not care how you got there as long as you got there.
I'm a process guy.
You are a process guy, and baseball, you really handle baseball the proper way. And I'm better at it now than I used to be. I turned it off. I missed Fernando's home run last night. I turned it off. For my own rest and mental health, and I turned it off. As soon as James Wood hit the bomb, I said, that's it. I'm going to go to bed. I'm turning this off. I don't want to watch anymore. I was a little bit angry. But not like I used to get, And because, there's perspective, you get a little older, whatever, you do realize, all right, I mean, the way I look at it is, like I said in the open, we put ourselves behind the 8 ball now to win a series. That was a beatable pitcher, and you did pretty well against him early by your process, by hitting the ball hard all over the ballpark. Great. It didn't work. Their flares fell in. Ours didn't. It sucks. But, you score 6 runs. You strike out 14 Nationals. You need to win that game. You got to figure it out. And so guys aren't getting the job done. Those guys notably being, Stephen Kolek and Wandy Peralta last night. So offense scoring 6 runs, man, I'll take it. Now, 3 of those runs came late on one swing. I get it. So let's call it 3. 3's probably not going to get it done. But
I watched the whole game. I woke up this morning. It felt like a 10-3 loss.
Yeah, for sure. So people are very mad about the Soto trade. It dredges it up. If you win 10-3 last night, nobody cares. I'll say it. I mean, yeah, they won that trade. Now, how it shakes out, if you get Michael King to sign an extension here and you keep Michael King, I don't think you're keeping Dylan Cease. I don't. So you use some of those pieces to get him. He's been whatever. You didn't win a World Series with Soto. Yes, GMs lose trades. Teams lose trades. It sucks watching James Wood. He is a stud. We would be his biggest fans if he was here.
I think it's very true. The Washington Nationals did very well. Knowing that they probably had to trade Juan Soto.
No, not probably.
They did very well in what they got back in that deal. And they're 2 best players and probably their best pitcher. I mean, that's a really good haul.
And we knew, and they knew, and AJ knew. I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up James Wood. He's going to be really good.
Now, I would say, and I think I read this from AJ Cassavell as well, the Padres didn't lose the Juan Soto trade. They got what they were hoping for.
That's
really,
true.
Really good player who is, a game-changing generational talent.
2.5 years.
They didn't take advantage of the Juan Soto trade by winning the World Series in 2022 or 2023. They certainly put together a team that could have, and they obviously lost the NLCS to the Phillies in 2022. Juan Soto, it wasn't his fault. He had a great series in 2022, but they didn't get it done against a hot Phillies team. And then in 2023, the team just collapsed, had a terrible, terrible season. It wasn't Juan Soto's fault. He had a good year. He played in every single one of those games. 162.
Well,
and then
I guess ask yourself because I hate this trade revisionist talk, but
it's so easy. 2020.
Who would you rather be today? Would you rather be the San Diego Padres or the Washington Nationals? I'd still rather be the San Diego Padres.
I would too.
And it's not particularly close.
Yeah, I still would too. I really would. I would.
Let's not act like we sold the franchise.
But knowing what we know in hindsight, that the Padres weren't going to. If you told me they're going to trade for Juan Soto, but he's going to be really good, but they're not going to win big in 2022 or 2023,
then I'm not
trading. To trade him. Of course, I'm not trading him now. I said no. Let me keep Abrams and Wood and Gore and Hassel and Susana, and I'll take my chances in 2024 and 2025 with those guys in the future. So if I could go back and undo it, of course I would.
Yeah.
It
doesn't mean AJ.
It doesn't mean the Padres lost the trade. It means that they didn't take advantage of a really great player that they had for a year and a half. And you have to give up really good players to get a Juan Soto.
Somebody made the point on Twitter last night, and I wholeheartedly agree. I'll say 97% of the people that are upset about this trade were elated the day you got Juan Soto. Now, there's always one. There's one out there. Boy, every time Manny strikes out in the 9th inning, I get a tweet from this guy. He knows who he is. Every time. Doesn't matter what he's done. Doesn't matter if, he hits 4 walk-offs in a row. It's not enough. He said, I knew. I hated it at the time. Okay. Maybe you did. I'm going to take you at your word. But 97% of this fan base had their pants off in front of the computer that day. 97, men and women.
I'd say like 97.3%.
97.3 had their pants off in front of the computer that day. I'll never forget it. We were on the air when it happened. It went crazy. You got a top 3 player in the game at that time, thinking you were getting Fernando Tatis Jr. back. And, man, you swung, you hit it, didn't go out. You got close. Close doesn't really count. It doesn't really count. And I have said this since it happened. I like Mackenzie Gore a lot. I think he has ace-type stuff. I think James Wood is a superstar in the making. If he was in the AL, he's going to win an MVP, right? Because he's in the NL, he's up against Shohei. It's going to be tough.
It'd be tough to beat Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh this year.
Yeah,
too,
fair enough.
But,
Fair enough. But better chance than beating a two-way player. I think he is a stud. I think he's a great kid. I love watching him play. I can't change it, man. I cannot put that toothpaste back in the tube, so I don't get myself worked up a lot about it. I tipped my hat when he hit the bomb. I said, of course that was coming. I tweeted, inevitable. It was inevitable. And I will give a lot of credit this morning to the Washington Nationals social media team. That was one of the better tweets I've seen. I can dish it, and I can certainly take it. They showed CJ waiting at home plate for James Wood after the bomb, hand raised, slapping 5, and all it said was fleece.
I did feel like that was somewhat disrespectful to Juan Soto. In a guy who helped them win a World Series, and you're basically saying that we gave away nothing and we got these guys. You didn't fleece anybody in that trade. You gave up a generational player who helped you win a World Series. So you can't.
You gave up a first ballot Hall of Fame.
You did well in that trade. You did what you had to do. I mean, that was a successful trade.
It was good,
but you didn't give up a guy who then was a 180 hitter who flamed out of baseball, and it wasn't James Shields for Fernando Tatis Jr.
That's a fleece. Now that is a fleece.
Yes. You gave up Juan Soto in that deal.
Yeah, but you gave up a guy that wasn't going to resign. He turned down $440 from you.
Of course. Good move that you had to make, and you turned it into something really good. Now,
but game recognizes game. I can dish it. I dish it all the time.
Jesse,
I have to take it.
I know we got to get to our crap up, but Jesse pregame made a good point as well. Are the Nationals getting anything out of this either? They're 15 games under 500. Both of those guys, their clocks have been ticking.
Yeah.
Abrams is in his 4th year now in the big leagues. Wood is in his 2nd now. And
I think he just hired Scott Boras.
And are you going to re-sign them at all? Are you going to turn your team into a winner in time to take advantage of either of these guys?
Because they haven't made the playoffs yet.
Otherwise, you just made the Juan Soto trade in reverse. You got 2 guys who didn't help you win a dang thing while they were in Washington.
It's very true.
And is that a big fleece? Oh, congratulations on your 5 years of under 500 baseball with a couple of cool guys to watch while they're on the field.
Yeah, you fleeced us. You can't get out of 4th place.
You got to do something with it if you're gonna crow about your trade. Do something with them. Sign some other players. Sign some pitching.
Salas and DeVries for James Wood today. Done. It's done.
We just keep working with the Nationals.
All right, we're gonna send you 2 more. They're gonna start. Their clocks haven't even started yet. His clock has. We'll take him.
Out of time already. All right, we will look at the highlights, go through yesterday's game. I do want to remind everybody that we will be talking to Mike Schilt this Friday at 9 a.m. Our manager's report is refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Crap up after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, your 15-minute drive-through oil change. Speed's definitely improving northbound 805. The brush fire was put out right before University. South Life Coastline, 2-car collision near Barcelona. It's over to the right shoulder. San Diego summers mean beach days, road trips, ball games. Make sure your ride's ready with Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Drive in, stay in your car, and be done in about 15 minutes. No appointment needed. For coupons, visit SoCalOilChange.com. And Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame if they lose.
You got a problem.
Oh, a shame indeed.
I couldn't agree more.
Here are the lowlights from yesterday's game.
What the heck happened?
Are you kidding me?
Can't even believe it.
It's the Padres
Wrap-Up.
presented by Hamul Casino. Things are about to get real with the all-new Hamul Casino Resort with gorgeous rooms and exciting new eats and drinks. It gets real this summer at Hamul Casino Resort, the player's place.
We'll give it 16 minutes of salt, and then we'll, get back on the bump and figure it out.
2-1 to Wood, and that's a hard hit liner into left center. Sheets over into the gap, will turn around and bounces up against the wall. Abrams got a great read on it. He'll come in to score. And a good throw to second base will keep Woods from trying to get to second, but it is an RBI single for James Wood and a 1-0 lead for the Nats. First and third, nobody out, 2-2 to Bell. Hit in the air to right center field. Merrill tracking it back all the way back onto the track in front of the 396 marker to make the catch. Plenty deep to allow Garcia to tag and score. Lowe also advances to second base. A sacrifice fly and a 3-0 lead. 1-1 to House. Kolek deals and a line drive over Iglesias into right center to base hit. Lowe is charging towards third. He's rounding on his way. Merrill's throw towards the plate. The tag is not in time. He has a little bit handcuffed by the throw and unable to get the tag on Lowe before he hit the dish. It's an RBI single for Brady House. And now a 4-0 Washington lead in the fourth. Here's the 0-2. And he swings, lines it to deep center field. Young is back, twisting around, looking up, gonna go! Line drive, home run to center field for Manny Machado. Number 13 for number 13. And the Pods are on the board here in the bottom of the fourth.
Career hit 1990. A bullet to dead center.
Bases loaded, one out. The 2-1 pitch lined over. Bogarts into left to a base hit. Wood has scored. Garcia will be held. 5 straight hits now. And an RBI single by Josh Bell to make it 6-1. 2-0. And Arai steps into it, sends it in the air to deep right field. Lyle's back. He's on the warning track. He's at the wall. This one is caught for the second consecutive game. The opposing right fielder goes over the wall and right to take a home run away. 1-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Sheets hits it hard on the line the other way into left field at a base hit. Merrill racing around third. He'll come in to score. RBI single, Gavin Sheets. And now a 6-2 game here in the sixth. Runnerworth leads off, swings to the first pitch, sends it high and deep to right center. Lyle is back. This one gonna go over the little wall in right center field. And Jake Cronenworth hits his 6th home run of the season. We've got ourselves a 3-run game here in the 7th. 1-0. Matsui looks at Abrams, the trail runner. Now the pitch. Wood swings, hits it in the air, deep down the right field line. Did he keep it fair? Yes, he did. A home run off. Gabe Morales, the first base umpire, initially said foul. And then he changed his mind, pointed fair, and it's a 3-run homer for Wood. 22nd of the season, and the Nationals lead is 9-3. 0-2 to Bell. So he kicks and delivers. And that's hit in the air to deep left field. Gavin Sheets back to the wall. He'll turn to watch. This one is going to go. Second deck in left for Josh Bell. His second hit of the night. Second home run in as many innings against Matsui, and now 10-3 Washington. 2-0 to Tatis with men on second and third, 2 out. San Fernando swings, hits it in the air to deep left center. Young is back into the gap, looking up. It's going to go. Long 3-run homer for Fernando Tatis Jr. 0-2. Manny swings, pops it up into shallow right field. Lyle coming in, and he's got it. The ball game is over. Padres make some noise in the bottom of the 9th inning as Fernando homers again, but game 1 belongs to the Nationals fairly emphatically. A final score of 10-6.
You can't always come back from 10-3, but we gave every absolute effort. I will say this. I mean, it's again what wins you watch. The scoreboard's the ultimate wins, but it's not the it's not absolute the way I look at the game, at least. I mean, our bat quality was fantastic throughout the game. So, as far as not being able to put together results, but if you look at the quality of at bats and the hard hits and throughout the game, I mean, you would say, what else are you going to do?
Well, we don't have to turd polish it because Schulte just did for us. So we're actually in good shape.
Do you disagree with what he said? I thought the at-bats were very good. I mean, I thought that last night before I heard Schulte say that.
Yeah, no, I did.
At-bats were really good.
I honestly, my take on the game was, oh, my God, Kolek looks locked in.
First 3 innings, he was fantastic.
Our guys are pounding the baseball, just not getting hits. I love what I saw from Jackson Merrill last night. I thought this game's got the potential to be a laugher. Well, it was, but it went the other way. And the inning that the Padres unraveled, which was the top of the fourth, started on an error. Threw it away. Kolek play that's got to be made 100 times, had way more time than he thought he did.
Yeah, it was a bad play.
Bad play.
First career error for Stephen Kolek. Yeah.
And then it all just unravels from there.
And then I don't know if he was flustered, but he wasn't the same pitcher that inning.
Not
he was
even
the first
close.
3 innings. He was missing his spots. He was leaving balls up. That was totally on Stephen Kolek. That inning.
You know, and I'm thinking back to some of the hits, and I'm like, oh, every time it would happen, it was just like, oh, right over his head. Oh, right to his right. Oh my God. You know, it's just like, oh, then you could feel it slip away. Unfortunately, man, this season in their losses, you think about some of the Dodger games, you know, the big inning is murdering this team. It's murdering them. The inning that unravels, and I'm just getting so tired of that inning. This is called that inning. It's that inning.
That inning.
Yeah. And the same thing happens to our pitchers, right? Like Cease will be dealing, and then he'll just the wheels come off. You know, Kolek dealing, the wheels come off, and then you get to the bullpen last night, and I thought that was actually like the perfect lane for a Wandy Peralta, and I guess I've realized. I don't know what that lane is. I didn't have a problem with him taking Morgan out and going to Matsui against the string of lefties. That makes perfect sense to me. Yuki didn't execute. Josh Bell hit a home run at his eyes. The pitch was at his eyes. It was the highest pitch since they started.
Hit for a home run.
The highest pitch ever hit from a home run since they started tracking this stuff. Yeah. So, all right, I'll tip my hat. But it was the other Josh Bell hits. It was Josh Bell coming in ice cold, really, torching you last night. That's another Padre, right? That didn't do a thing here. They had a little tough to stomach. Okay. No, he didn't do anything here. Paulie had the numbers yesterday. It was putrid.
He's also not doing anything. I mean, he's hitting 197 for the Nationals.
You know what he was hitting before the game last night? 137. So it's like, these guys coming back and doing damage. It's a tale as old as time, but based on how the game started, if I had dinner reservations and I left in the third, and I would have walked out feeling 10 feet tall, thinking there's no way we're losing this game. We're on this guy. We're on Parker. We're on his fastball. We're getting good contact. We are winning this ball game. I can go to dinner and not think twice about it. Was not the case. And, they deserve credit too. But yeah, dude, it was a really rough night for the pitchers. Really rough night.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit more about the Padres pitching staff and what I remain confident is the most important thing left in this season. We actually had some good news on it yesterday, and I will share that with you. Injury news on Michael King next year on 97.3 The Fan. Maybe the first actual good news we've heard from Michael King. We haven't heard much, but some positive developments yesterday. Welcome back, Ben and Woods, hour number 2 here on a Tuesday morning on 97.3 The Fan. I saw pregame, Michael King out there throwing from 105 feet through about 25 to 30 times. Now, still described the session as medium-low, but he said, quote, that was the most normal it felt since I got shut down. And it was a week from the last time he started throwing. Feel like as long as I feel good tonight and tomorrow, I think it will be more of a progression in terms of intensity and distance. So I said this last week.
This is Michael King.
Doesn't really matter how the Padres are playing right now at this moment, what the offense looks like at the bottom of the order. If you don't get Michael King back, the season's not going anywhere.
Correct.
They don't have the capital to go out and acquire another ace pitcher and address their other needs. They need the ace pitcher that they have this year to come back and be an ace pitcher. And if he does, the Padres pitching staff to me looks pretty good. Stephen Kolek, we can, lament last night's fourth inning. He's done a fine job filling in. 3.95 ERA, 3-3 record. Not going to win any awards, but he's gotten enough done that they've kept from sinking. Brian Burgert's actually been pretty good.
Yeah.
And he'll pitch again tonight. Randy Vasquez has been pretty good. None of them replace Michael King. And if Yu Darvish can come back and be Yu Darvish-like, that's another bonus as well. And that gives you a chance to compete. AJ will have to focus on left field and maybe adding a catcher. And if they do that and they get Michael King and maybe Yu Darvish back, you've got a team that could make a run, in the second half of the season and the playoffs. If you don't get Michael King back, I really don't know, what chances there are other than, any puncher's chance that, amazing. Everyone's pitching their best games of their life.
Yeah, let me ask you this.
I just don't see it.
If Michael King has a setback, let's say next week he tries to throw and they shut him down. They said it's not looking great. Maybe a September return, maybe, but it's not looking good. Then are we all of a sudden sellers?
I would consider. Yeah, I would definitely think you have to consider.
You got to listen.
If you fall like 4 or 5 games out in the wild card race, the Padres right now are still a game out, I think, in the wild card race. Brewers lost yesterday as well. But if you fall, in the next month, 4 or 5 games out, and Michael King, that he's probably not coming back, I do think you have to consider getting what you can for players who are going to be free agents. I just don't.
That's tough.
I think I know as much as you want to compete.
That is a bitter pill to swallow.
It would be a very bitter pill, but I just don't see a path without having a top of the line pitcher like Michael King.
Look, you're so everyone's so enamored with this team, and you're selling out Petco Park, and you still have star power, right? You do. You have star power on this team, and you have star power that's locked up, and they're here. What does it say to those guys? Now, it's smart business. I think those guys know that this game is a business very well. They all do. Manny and Jackson and Toddy and those guys. They would rather go down with the ship, though. Trust me. They would rather say, do what you have to do. But we don't want to be perceived as throwing in the towel. But listen, you have to do what's best for the long-term health of the organization. Recalibrating may be in the best interest. We're not there yet. We just don't know. We do know what we need. And you don't have to empty the farm for a left fielder right now. You don't have to empty the farm for a catcher. You don't. You can buy, again, on the margins right now. I don't know what the margins look like. Nobody's really making any deals right now. Other than the Giants getting a disgruntled Rafi Devers. But other than that, man, it's pretty slow, and it's not a lot of sellers because a lot of people think they're still in it.
It's an unfamiliar feeling, I think, for all of us as Padres fans, because we're not usually in this position. Even in the down years over the last 5 years, 2021, they were the best team in baseball for the first half of the year.
But many are
2023, they were a good team. Not a good team, but they were in contention well past the All-Star break, so they weren't sellers then.
But the counter to that is they should have been in a couple of those. Obviously, knowing, how things worked out, There were a couple that you look at and go, I knew it, man. We probably should have unloaded this.
2021 was a flight of fancy.
Right.
You know, with the way the pitching staff was going, you were never going to solve that problem.
Never. It was never going to happen.
No,
I mean, they're the best team in baseball at the All-Star break that year.
Yeah, that's true.
But they lost all their pitching.
Yeah,
and
all the pitching went down.
You
didn't know. It was literally, like, I want to say it was like after a week after the deadline, Paddock got hurt, Weathers got hurt, or I think it was those two guys.
Yeah,
like,
that was part of it. That some
was
of
all
those injuries
after the
came
deadline.
right
You were the
the
best
day
team in
around the
baseball.
deadline. That was tough. That was bad time.
And then they had the once in a generation collapse. And then they had
I-
another
again,
one 2
though,
years later.
Michael King said this
twice
week.
in a generation.
Michael King was adamant this weekend. Oh, I am pitching again this year. He's not. There's been no indication that this is something that's going to keep him out the rest of the season. But I think there's enough unknown about it that, I mean, is he just being very optimistic and positive, or does he know for sure he's going to be back? If Michael King is going to be back and the Padres can address a couple of the lineup needs, they can be a really good team.
No doubt.
They could go on a dominant stretch. We saw it early in the season. They can do that with King and Cease and, the way Vasquez has been pitching in the rotation and Pivetta, they can go on a dominant run when King comes back. So right now, I'm still thinking that this is a team that's going to be all in going forward.
Arturo says you got to stop living in the past. Moving forward, we should focus on game by game. I agree. I'm a big game-to-game guy. That being said, your past dictates your future, right? Your past. Don't make the same mistakes potentially that you made.
You have to
before.
acknowledge the history.
You have to acknowledge and look around and go, all right, should have done this. I don't want to make this mistake again. You have to, it takes looking at your team honestly and giving an honest assessment of it. I believe that this team, with Michael King back and Yu Darvish back, I believe that this team could go on a run. No question. I believe it in my heart. Without Michael King and Yu Darvish, I cannot count on.
See, I do.
Cease, Vasquez, Bergert, Kolick, and Pivetta. I can't.
I agree with that part. I do agree if Cease, if King doesn't come back or doesn't come back until much later in the season, we haven't seen Darvish all year. So he was never pitching this year up to this point at least. But if you know that those guys aren't coming back, I would assume AJ goes out and gets somebody else. There's
no Michael King replacement that you can afford and still address your other needs. That's
without costing you.
Oh, I mean, yeah,
Leo,
DeVries and Sal. If you want to need an ace
guys.
and a starting left fielder and a catcher, goodbye to both of your top prospects.
Yep.
This team's not a World Series team, though. If we don't get King and Cease back, and all of a sudden they're not a good team without them, they're not capable of going on a run without them, then this was never a good team to begin with.
Oh, I disagree. I think most teams in baseball, other than the Dodgers, who have withstood the loss of several
dozen aces.
You have too much star power to not go out and get somebody to maybe help out. It's not going to be as good as a Michael King.
It can't be.
Most teams lose two of their top three starting pitchers. They're in a world of hurt.
But you
Padres have done a pretty good job actually stemming the tide while these guys have been gone.
You can't go out and do the Arrieta move. Who was the other guy they brought in? Velasquez. And you're watching a playoff game. You're going, what?
You need to go find an ace, and there's not many available. I mean, you can go like Sandy Alcantara. Is he even an ace anymore? He's been pitching better.
Yeah.
But the cost would be astronomical to get him. And that only just then puts you back to where you were, which was a team that has a shot again.
Yeah.
But it doesn't put you over the top or anything because you don't have King. That's why King to me is essential. Darvish would be a nice extra bonus if he comes
you over
back.
The top, by the way. I mean, nobody the Yankees went out and got Juan Soto. Thought he was going to put him over the top. He didn't.
Close. Yeah.
We tried to get Juan Soto. You know what I mean? One player's not going to make that difference.
Well, that's the thing. You're not a player away. You're multiple players away. And again, so many things have to break.
But if you have King and Darvish, you're a lot closer than you were.
Yeah, no question.
I think there's too much to fill if you don't have those guys. If you have King and Darvish, I think the problems are addressable. You can find a serviceable left fielder, maybe a catcher, without mortgaging your entire future for it for a 5% chance at winning the World Series. You can do that.
Yeah, just remember, again, like Eric says, everyone ready to trade Salas and DeVries because that's what it's going to take. Everyone going to cry when those players get good.
Not me if it's the right deal. If you think that trade helps you win this year, fine by me. Because we do it AJ, that's like his best strength as a general manager.
It's the only thing he can do now, in my opinion, is continue to gut and then draft well. Continue to gut, draft well until it clicks. And
or if we had the White Sox GM, the Athletics GM, something like that, like I would be like, please stop making trades. They're not working out. They're not helping us. But like AJ's best tool in his position is restocking the farm system. And if you trade those two guys for players that are ready this year that you think are going to help you win in October, whether or not it happens is a totally different story. If you think that you can win this year, who's to say that Boston Bateman's not in the top 10 of Baseball America's prospect list?
Let me put it this way. I'd be more okay with trading DeVries and or Salas if you knew you had Michael King and Yu Darvish, and then you're really going for it.
Then you're loading up.
I don't want to trade those guys just to try to get you back to where you were with Michael King.
I agree with that.
That to me is a fool's errand to just try to replace what you already thought you had.
It comes back to how we started this. I was saying it started with if King tells you, like the doctors say, he ain't going to be ready for
That's
like 2
why I say
months.
You don't chase after that. You
Don't
don't have to
chase
sell everybody, but I don't think you chase and mortgage the future if you don't think you're getting King back. If you are, then you think about it, because I think you've got a pretty good team with Michael King, leading a rotation and a lineup that's starting to heat up again a little bit. It's looking deeper. I liked Mike Schilt's lineup change. Talked to Luis Ariz about that yesterday as well.
You did?
Yeah. With the scrum, and he said, I don't know, whatever they named. Good communication. He said, Mike gives really good communication, and that's what he did say. Asked about the opportunity to drive in more runs. And he goes, well, I mean, if, Merrill and Manny and Toddy are hitting a bunch of home runs, then I won't. But if they're hitting doubles, I will.
I love it. I mean, it's a good spot for him. I think we all agree. We've said it for a while. I did notice that Palm asked Schulte about it during the game. And Schulte didn't get mad at him like he got mad at me on last Friday.
But now he's already done it.
Yeah, now he did it. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't have the answers. Wish I did. I'm not the Oracle. I'm not the burning bush. I have no idea.
It's nice to see Brian Hoeing back.
I love Hoeing.
I saw someone in the chat said, well, you could try to stretch him out to be a starter. Fine. Again, he's not replacing Michael King.
Right.
There's no replacing Michael King. Michael King is one of the best pitchers, nastiest pitchers.
He's
in the
nasty.
league.
SD Jelly says, I'm tired of trading future for rentals. Got to bring these guys up when they're ready. Need more of that young buck energy on the team like Merrill brings. I agree with you in theory. And I think that if there was another Jackson Merrill that could play left field right now, there is. His name is James Wood. He plays for the Nationals. But if there was another one that was ready, he'd be up. Problem is when you have guys that are performing. Manny's performing this year. Tatis is still very young. Xander Bogaerts is performing better. When you have these guys wasting a year waiting for DeVries and Salas, the timelines don't add up. And that's what's scary. That's when I always talk about this is your modus operandi right now if you're AJ Preller. This is, I think, what you have to do. The Giants, we just discovered through this move that they made, we now discovered how they're going to get sluggers to San Francisco. They will not get them in free agency because no slugger wants to sign there. They will trade for them, and they will pay them, and they will eat contract, and they will do that. That's going to be their plan. That's how they're going to do it. And maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Our plan, as it stands right now today, is unload, reload,
AJ
unload,
Preller
reload.
And Peter Seidler and their staffs put together the blueprint for the San Diego Padres. Now, whether you agree or disagree with the blueprint of signing a lot of guys to long-term deals, that's a separate conversation.
But that's already done.
It's already done.
You
that's
can't undo
point.
it. You have to cash in.
This is the trajectory. Yes, I'm agreeing with you.
Got to cash in.
They have laid out this trajectory where you can't afford to go.
You got your core.
We'll just wait till 2027, and then DeVries is here, and Salas
Manny's
is
37.
Here. Right. That's not how it works. That could work for a lot of other teams that don't have guys that are exiting their primes.
Chat says, I can always count on 97.3 host defending this loser baseball team when they never performed to standards. I feel like we're ripping the team right now. I do. That's how maybe I came off wrong. I feel like that we're being hard on the team. They played like ass last night. Pitching was terrible. You didn't get the job done against a team that you should have gotten the job done against, and you put yourself behind the 8 ball to win a series. I think they know that as well. But yeah, man, he says he wants the 98 Padres back 7 days a week and twice on Sundays. Yeah, I mean, sure, absolutely. Who wouldn't?
Get a bunch of guys on career years.
Who wouldn't want Greg Vaughn hitting 50 home runs in this lineup? Sign up. Take my arm for it. It'd be amazing. It would be amazing. But I'm just trying to be a little bit real about what the future may look like. And I feel like this is the direction that they're going to have to go if they want to win a World Series. Now, what this team looks like, if let's say they went out and made every magical move that they could make and they won the World Series. How's this team look in 3 years? I don't know. I have no idea. We'll worry about it then. That's kind of how I feel. But, the prospect huggers have a real leg to stand on today. They have a real leg to stand on.
Don't forget, you signed Jackson Merrill to be a core player now, and he's not exiting his prime anytime soon. Right. He won't even be in his prime.
He's like the second wave of this window,
right. But Tatis is still just 26. You still have a core to build around for the future. Now, your aging players obviously are going to be concerned, and the finances of paying them and trying to fill the rest of your team is also a concern. As Eric Grupner has told us many times, they're going to also have to build from within and graduate some prospects and build that way. To do that, can't trade them all away. So it is a very fine line of, keeping enough prospects that you think are going to help you on the big league level, but also wanting to take advantage of the players you have now, like Manny and some of your older players. Yeah. But not completely mortgaging the future, because you also are invested heavily in the future as well. And you want to have some talented players coming up to play alongside Merrill and Tatis when they're still, in their prime in 3 or 4 years.
Well, no, that's supposed to be Leo DeVries. That's supposed to be him. And maybe he will, maybe he won't. Many, many players have been ranked very highly and never materialized. The list is
a lot more than half.
It's a lot more than half. I mean, the Jared Kellenics of the world, the Jurickson Profars of the world, right? What the Rangers were getting offered for him, and they would not give him up back when he came up. It would astound you, and there's been so many of those guys, and every team's got them. And they're like, when is this going to happen? When is this guy going to hit? I mean, you saw the Reds. Now, they signed him in free agency. The Reds yesterday cut Jaime Candelario, and they ate the Reds $24 million. 24 mil. They cut him, a year into a 3-year deal, essentially, or year and a half,
halfway through a $45 million deal.
And they ate $24 million because they think it gives them a better chance to win. That's the staggering number for a team like that. That's a staggering number, but they're doing what they think they need to do. So I guess I tip my hat to it, but that's a bad signing. That's a bad signing.
But there's no candidates for that right now in the Padres.
Correct.
You're not. Xander Bogaerts isn't Jamer Candelario bad. He's not been worth $25 million, but it's not a sunk, you're not just getting rid of him. You can't, there's no one better that you could put right in right away and say, oh, let's get rid of Xander and bring someone else. That would be stupid.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about that. All right, we'll take a timeout. When we come back, don't do this. And we have one person in jail and another who was treated like he was in jail at Petco Park coming up in our DDT segment. That is next. Don't go away. Ben and Woods coming back after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
First, though, we're going to talk about somewhere very unjail-like because it is 7 Mile Casino. And I know that was a bad segue, but I will say this.
That's all right.
Bright windows looking out on a beautiful view of San Diego Bay. I guess in Alcatraz you could probably have a nice view if you were there, but trust me, 7 Mile Casino is a great place to play cards, upscale, lots of fun. Woods and I have been there many times.
7 Mile Casino, better than Alcatraz.
Similar view is what I'm saying.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Views.
Yes, I've been to Alcatraz. I would rather be at 7 Mile Casino every time, 100% of the time, every single time. 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown, and better than Alcatraz.
The food is definitely, I think, better at Sammy's at 7 Mile, quite a bit. You get your 24/7 players menu with the Kung Pao chicken, which is incredible. It's my favorite Asian dish I've had in San Diego.
Rod just said you can order for pickup at 7 Mile as well.
Do it.
Go get it.
I didn't even realize that, but why not? It's just a restaurant like any other, so you probably DoorDash as well if you wanted. Then you sit down and you play at their California-style blackjack, Texas Hold'em tables, Pai Gow poker, and Baccarat. High limit action, great dealers, a great atmosphere. Check it out today. 7 Mile Casino. Yes, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Don't do this on a Tuesday is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Don't.
Leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die.
No.
Set up a Trust or Will online at trustandwill.com.
This
is a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. I will admit that I got this wrong, at least in my own thinking. I always assumed when a manager got suspended in Major League Baseball, yes, they're not allowed to be in the dugout, but I guess I just pictured they're hiding somewhere back up the tunnel in the clubhouse. They got a clubby who can run, some messages. They're watching on TV. They still got their pulse on the game, even though they're suspended.
I thought they were hollering down from the tunnel.
Yeah, exactly. And that was
That's
just
it.
And that was just kind of a known thing that's how it operated. And then AJ Przinsky, who called the Padres game over the weekend and is on the Foul Territory podcast, had a very different at least set of facts when he described what Mike Shildt had to do during his one-game suspension on Friday.
Did y'all know that he was locked in his office, for the game? And there's MLB people that sit in there with him and make sure he doesn't pick up the phone to call down to the dugout or call down. They lock him in his office. He can't leave his office, right? I'm like, what if you got to pee? They're like, oh, they follow you. He's like, he can't. He's like, you just had to sit there like this and just watch the game on the TV. Like MLB people were watching him everywhere. I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
I had no idea. He was a big leaguer. He didn't know this. He played for.
I had no idea.
He played for Ozzy.
A manager gets ejected, he's on the field or he's in the dugout. He doesn't. Maybe he
Ejected.
doesn't know what's
But they
going
felt
on.
like he had to be locked in his office, like some sort of criminal.
Hey, boy.
He's locked in the office.
Hey,
Can I go now?
Yeah, don't worry about what
And
old
you got to be
Shilty's doing.
proctored like the entire time. Someone's watching every move.
It's like a
you
bodyguard,
make.
standing outside of the door.
Yeah, and then one
like-
inside watching it to make sure he doesn't pick up a phone or something and
Like
call
you're-
the dugout.
Like you're an FBI informant in your hotel room and there's somebody standing outside just to make sure nobody gets in. Holy cow.
I had no idea that they took it so seriously.
Really cool.
Yeah, I bet.
Well,
Now,
we will
again, that's standard? Or
we will ask Mike Shildt about
I
that.
can't wait.
Certainly on Friday when he joins us for his manager's report. I mean, what does he do? I mean, he can watch it on TV, but he can't. He just has to sit there and stew.
I mean, I guess. And it makes sense, right? So what is the reasoning for even coming to the ballpark? If you're
allowed to be there
suspended,
for pregame work, and he met with the media.
meet with the
pregame.
media,
Yeah,
say
and then
hello, but then split.
Like Friday night. Yeah, he was there for pregame and then
As soon as the game's over, though, your suspension is
It's like-
over. So he can
meets
can
with
then
the-
meet with all his coaches and do everything.
So he
for
meets with the
next
coaches.
day,
Yeah.
evaluate the game and everything. So he kind of does need
Do
to
they have
be
the same
there.
protocol as like players? Like when Fernando was on his
No,
suspension,
he can't be at the ballpark at all. when
He
you're
could
on
be there until
suspension.
like gates opened
Yes,
or something.
and then you have
working
to
out
leave.
with the team,
Yeah.
he could still be there, and then he had
Yeah.
to leave. So this is different from that.
Apparently so. I was surprised by this. It feels a little harsh. It
Yeah.
feels. I don't know.
Well, it's baseball. Everyone's going to try to find an edge when they can. So I guess it kind of makes sense, but I just didn't know that was the deal.
Steve wants to know, how do I get one of those MLB suspended manager monitor gigs? I definitely do not want to be the Mike Shildt monitor.
I don't
No,
either. Can you imagine?
And they lost that game too.
That'd be a
And
great
one by
bit.
one run, and you're sitting there making sure that Mike Shildt is
Hey, boy,
behaving
why don't you
himself
make
the
yourself
entire
useful.
game.
Give me a Diet Coke.
As he runs out.
Give me a bloody beer.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's going to sit in here with old Shilty. Have some nachos. He was eating nachos in his office. It's a true story.
He said that.
Yeah, it's fantastic. This Don't Do This, I guess, is for me because I was looking this morning and, Ippei Mizuhara, you guys might remember him, Shohei Ohtani's fall guy. He's the guy, he's in federal prison right now. He's serving 57 months for stealing money from Shohei
Like
Ohtani.
4.5 years.
Yeah, 4.5 years. But it came out yesterday. They released, now he's at FCI Allenwood Low. It's a Pennsylvania prison. He's been in custody since Monday. And they released his daily menu of the food that he gets.
Okay.
So what's today?
Today is Tuesday.
Well, let me read you what
The Tuesday menu.
Let me read you what he can have today.
Prison slop.
I mean, doesn't sound like slop.
Gruel, right? A bowl of gruel.
Chicken patty sandwich, or for the heart healthy option, a chickpea burger, steamed rice, pinto beans, lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, hamburger bun, fruit, or dessert, and a beverage. And then for dinner tonight, he can have Salisbury steak or black-eyed peas. why wouldn't you just have them together? Mashed potatoes,
You're
brown
in prison.
gravy.
You don't get both Salisbury
Oh,
steak
you have to
and black
pick?
eyed peas. You
All
got to
right.
pick.
Mashed potatoes, brown gravy, whole kernel corn, whole wheat bread, margarine pat, and a beverage. That's better than anything I will eat tonight.
Yeah, I bet the gravy's kind of lumpy, though.
Friday is the best, though. So for lunch, he can have baked fish or baked beans, macaroni and cheese or garlic macaroni. For dinner, pasta with marinara sauce, meatballs or chicken marinara, spinach, garden salad, garlic bread, whole wheat bread, and a beverage. Taco night on Saturday,
Tacos.
roast beef on Sunday, turkey roast on Monday.
Not bad.
It's just, I mean, it's a better menu than my family, than we feed our children at my home. And this is in federal prison. No chicken fingers, no mac and cheese on there. It looks delicious. So I guess the don't do this is for me.
I wonder if every day Ipe's cheese sucks.
Maybe. But I don't think you don't get to complain. But it's a decent spread for these guys.
You do have to feed the people. They
Yeah,
weren't
of course.
sentenced to starve to death.
Well, of course. Take care of your guy. So yeah, he's got 4.5 years.
Right. It's probably not gourmet quality.
I mean, it's better than anything I'm serving. Probably better than anything you're eating for dinner.
It's probably true.
Right?
Most days.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, finally, a little do this.
DD mega doo-doo.
Let me give it to
Hold on. Paul's wife goes, Woods, you would love federal prison, honestly.
It's quiet.
I don't know that it is quiet. I don't know that it is
Probably
quiet.
got times where it's quiet. You got some. You got a little space to yourself.
Yeah.
Nobody else can bother you.
Can you put me in the hole, please, so that I can sleep for like a month?
Gonna give the do this to the unsung hero of the Oklahoma City Thunder's championship celebration. Now we talked about how they are the youngest champions, one of the youngest champions in NBA history. So they win the title on Sunday night, and all these like 23 and 24-year-olds go to the locker room for the champagne celebration. They don't know how to open bottles of champagne. They can't figure it out. They're sitting there trying to unwrap the foil on the top, and then the twisty wire thing. They can't get it open. They're just standing there like a bunch of fools, just going like, what are we supposed to do with this? We've never had champagne in our lives. Alex Caruso, 31-year-old veteran, won a ring with the Lakers during the pandemic season, puts on a little tutorial for everyone. All right, gather around. I'm going to show you how you do this once. All right, you take the foil off, then you unwrap it. Then as you shake it a little bit, then you push the cork up, and then you shake it big time, and it starts spraying all over the place. Had to do almost like a YouTube video to show these guys how on earth, because they had no clue how to open a bottle of champagne, which is understandable. Bunch of young kids without much champagne experience.
I mean, it's wild too, because I saw them. They said that no team has ever left that much alcohol in a locker room.
No team has ever taken so much time to get the first few bottles open.
They needed somebody in there doing it for them,
Yeah.
prepping it for them. But they left.
But you can't open it. It has to stay closed.
It's got to stay closed.
They should probably take all the foil and the wire off and just have it down to the cork.
I was reading.
Loosen it a little bit.
I think it was Marcus Thompson for The Athletic was covering the NBA Finals, and he's been to a lot of them. He's seen a lot of locker room celebrations. He said something like it was the most muted or something a celebration I've ever seen in a locker room after a championship. And
I wonder why that is.
It was weird. They got crushed for the championship hats that they were giving out on the court. They're like, I saw somebody who was like, finals hats used to mean something and they looked cool, and this was just it just says champions from Temu or something.
All right. They said they showed the big tubs. They were full of beer and champagne. And these guys were like, all right, cool, we won one. All right, see you guys later. See you next season. And just left.
People were even ripping them they're on court, immediately after the game ended, and they were just like, yeah.
All right,
cool. It's like winning an adult league championship.
You're
You're
black
go
out.
back to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well, see you guys next season. Love you guys.
See you in Indianapolis for game 8.
And that is an interesting mix of don'ts and do this for a Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, coming up, Fernando Tatis Jr., hero and champion of the little guy, or irresponsible guy who's not living up to his own commitments. We will talk about the lawsuit filed in San Diego Superior Court when we come back with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Well, gang, quickly, if you are if waking up this morning and creaking as you get out of bed, you are not alone. A lot of people out there, joint pain. I was one of them for many years. Knees have held up pretty well over the years. Back has held up pretty well. Shoulders, but my wrists were inflamed. Didn't know what was the matter with them. Thought I was going to need wrist surgery. Was not looking forward to that prospect. Found QC Kinetics. Went in, got the treatments, and it's been such a game changer for me. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime, and honestly, like, so easy when I think back on it. How nervous I was to go in, and they just did it. And my wrists are stronger than they've ever been. Back to the gym today, excited to go lift heavier than I ever have in my whole life. I'll be 50 next month. That's a pretty good feeling, I got to tell you. So if you're feeling limited right now, go call QC Kinetics today. Cellular level treatments using your body's own healing power, healing and restoring the damaged tissue in all of your joints. So they're going to go right after the very source of the pain. This is not a cortisone shot. It does not mask the pain for 6 months. You got to come back, say goodbye to that chronic pain, live your best life today. 619-614-PAIN. Find out today if you're a good candidate. Consultation is free. QC Kinetics, 619-614-PAIN, 619-614-PAIN.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Pat Benatar had that song, Ben, Love is a Battlefield.
I do.
Our YouTube chat is a battlefield right now. Holy crap.
Don't think our next topic's going to help alleviate that battle at all
Now,
either.
See, this one, I don't know that this is going to cause a battle in my mind. Like trading the guys that you traded, that causes a battle, right? But what Fernando Tatis Jr. did, I can't see it starting like a big fight, but maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, my mentions yesterday, I posted the news, got this release yesterday afternoon from Fernando Tatis Jr.'s legal and PR team. It's titled, Fernando Tatis Jr. aims to protect young athletes from exploitative illegal loans issued by unlicensed lender BLA. That's a Big League Advance. And this is not a new story about Fernando Tatis Jr. and what he and many, many other young players, especially from Latin American countries, did earlier in their career. When Fernando was 17 years old, according to ESPN reporting, they had some details on it. He took a $2 million advance on his future earnings from the company Big League Advance in exchange for 10% of whatever he makes in perpetuity for the rest of his life. Now, Big League Advance operates under the business model that they're going to lose some money on some guys that don't make it to the big leagues because they don't make you repay it. If you don't make it to the show, then you just keep that money and you go your merry way and you don't owe them anything. But for the guys who do make it, they want to make big time returns. And Fernando Tatis Jr. is their biggest success story ever. When he signed a $340 million deal with the San Diego Padres a few years ago, that meant $34 million pre-tax, $34 million.
A lot of cake.
Remember, I mean, $340 million is a lot of money, but of course you're going to pay a lot of federal and state taxes on that, and $34 million on top of it going to Big League Advance. Now, no one's going to cry a river for Fernando Tatis Jr., but the lawsuit alleges that the business practices of BLA are predatory and unfair. They take vulnerable young athletes, a lot of whom don't have financial resources, kind of in a desperate situation, and they use it to try to, make future money off of these kids. And there's a lot of different opinions on whether this is something that should be allowed, shouldn't be allowed, or no one's forcing anybody to sign a contract. Fernando Tatis Jr., I think was one of the more interesting cases because he did not come from, nothing. His dad played Major League Baseball, made money during his career. Fernando said, though, when he signed his he was asked about this, if you'll remember, when he signed his big deal. And at the time he said, I used that money to invest in myself, better training, better food,
better apartment,
to try to make it to the big leagues. Okay. Now, most guys don't make it. Even guys like Fernando Tatis Jr. when they're 17, the odds of them ever making it huge in their career are small. So it's not a bad gamble if you're a player going, well, you know what? I can't really afford this now. And who knows what I'll ever make in the future. Yeah. What is it? Bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
Bush.
BLA bets on the two in the bush. And it's not two, it's 34 million.
Stop saying two in the bush. I'm begging you.
34 million in the bush.
Or keep saying it. One of the two. I can't decide.
Now in this lawsuit, remember who he's fighting for. And that's the guys who actually have made it to the big leagues. Because the guys who didn't make it, it wasn't exploitative. They took whatever money and they didn't have to pay it back. So in that sense, BLA, they're the ones taking on a lot of risk.
Right. What leg does he have to stand on?
That's kind of where I'm at. And also, Benny, like you say, he's fighting for the future kids that this may happen to, and I believe that that's part of it. Is he also trying to not pay $34 million?
I would assume that's part of it as well.
The altruism of it is hard to grasp, right? But I don't want to
It's not like he's paying the 34 million, like, honoring his side of the bargain and also saying
this
I would
is
like
wrong?
to take a stand for the future players. I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
Martine says, where was Tatis Sr. at the time? That's kind of the $1 million question, or the $2 million question.
Well, let's talk about that.
Okay.
We check traffic,
Right.
and we'll talk about Fernando's situation here specifically coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, your 15-minute drive-through oil change. Crash has cleared on northbound 805 near the 54, but now an accident right before Plaza. It's over to the right shoulder. Also getting reports of a crash on eastbound 8 right around Waring Road. Got a truck and a car involved in this one. They're over to the right shoulder. San Diego summers mean beach days, road trips, ball games. Make sure your ride's ready with Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Drive in, stay in your car, and be done in about 15 minutes. No appointment needed. For coupons, visit SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So I don't think inherently what Big League Advance is doing is necessarily exploitative or illegal, but let's not pretend they're in this, for some altruistic reasons. They're hoping to make big money on, some future earnings of players.
So,
if they bet right, they're looking to bet right. They've got an algorithm.
They're betting. They're hedging.
They're trying to predict some sort of stock market on baseball players.
But I do think
which guys are going to make it big, and they're hoping to, they're hoping to get a little taste of that by seeding their money early and then making a huge return later.
But I don't know that you can sit here and say I don't think it's exploitative, because I think that's exactly what it is. I think two things can be true. I think it's exploitative because if Fernando Tatis Jr., as the report or whatever the story was, his dad was with him, I guess, when he signed this deal over dinner. So his father was with him. I can promise you that's not always the case. Right? Correct. I can promise you 100%. that every meeting with every player, probably I don't want to say under duress, some of these guys, but they're feeling the internal duress of, I've got a family that I need to provide for, and I'm getting the opportunity. Maybe it's not $2 million in every player's case. Maybe it's 100,000, 200,000.
I think it is.
But that's lower. But that's a big chunk of money.
Generally, how it works is for every 50,000 you take, you give up 1% of your future earnings. So Tatis apparently negotiated a pretty good deal if it was $2 million for just 10%, because that would have been 20% based on their model.
Which would have cost him what?
A lot more.
$68 million of this contract. I do think that there has to be some sort of upper limit. I don't know, if it makes sense for BLA to still do it, but hey, you will take 10% up to your first 10 million, and then you're off the hook. I don't know that anyone who ever takes money from someone should have to pay 50 times, 100 times what they borrowed in essentially interest on a loan. That to me is an unfair business practice. Now, if it's capped, money now is worth more than money later. Right. So, that's certainly true. Ask Shohei Ohtani about, his deferred money and what it's really worth in dollars now. So there should be interest. There should be a way for BLA to make some money. Should it be unlimited though? Like 10% forever and ever and ever. You wrote one check long time ago, and now it's Tatis who does all the work. He's done, this is his career. They didn't do anything to help his career. He's putting in all the work, and you're continuing to reap the benefits forever and ever and ever. There has to be an end to it, doesn't there?
Yeah, there needs to be an end game. Honestly, if you have a high interest loan, there's got to be an end game to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think for a lot of people, you don't ever feel that the end is near, because it's not. You're paying insane rates, and you feel like you're paying for nothing.
You ever buy a car?
You ever buy a car?
$40,000 sticker price, and then you get your paperwork done.
$80,000.
I paid $67,000 for this car.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
Which is a lot. But again, that would be like paying $40,000 for a car and then paying $5 million to pay it off later. Because you get, it's or borrowing $40,000 for a car and then paying $5 million later. Doesn't seem equitable. It seems too much to pay back at the end. So those numbers are too high.
I mean, when I saw this yesterday, I thought my immediate thought was, oh man, you're like, I think I think you're toast. Like, you signed it, you agreed to it, and whether that's right or wrong, but my immediate thought was, oh man, that sucks. You got into a really, really bad deal. That's a bad deal.
It could be an honorable thing if, fighting for the next generation of players and exploiting this company that I believe absolutely is targeting and exploiting these young, Latin baseball players.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would guess Fernando is probably, if his dad was in fact there, I guess there's some dispute on whether or not he was actually at that dinner when he signed the contract, but I promise you, Fernando might be the only person that BLA has signed who had a Major League Baseball player that made $20 million in his career?
Yeah,
right there with
they had Franmil. They ended up suing Franmil last year for about $440,000 in unpaid. They had Mejia.
He sued them. And lost. And he lost big time. But Fernando's going, instead of under contract law, they're going under a more of a unfair business practices, California Consumer Protection Act. We'll see if that's a better tactic or if, again, BLA may be on solid legal ground here.
Yeah.
Ethically, I don't know. It feels like that's too much to ask for in perpetuity forever for one check when he was 17 years old.
It's a heavy vig, to say the least. It's a heavy vig. Loan sharking at its absolute finest by BLA for sure.
Well, that's what it kind of is.
That's exactly what it is.
Now they if you don't pay it back because you didn't make the big leagues, they don't break your legs.
Right.
They take the loss, which is what, that's the leg that they stand on. Hey, we put in risk too. If you didn't make it, we weren't going to get $1 back from you in your career. But because you did, we took on that risk. We should reap a bigger reward. And they should. I just don't know that reward should be next to unlimited for the rest of his life and the rest of his career.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Does he have a leg to stand on? We'll see. We will see.
All right, we'll come back. We've got Jesse Agler take on Woods all ahead here on The Fan.
halfway home on a Tuesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3. The Fan, the losses bring the worst out in a lot of us, myself included sometimes. I'm not going to alibi it. Okay? I've just started to use that all the time now. I'm not going to alibi it. I started using it at home.
What's his other one? I feel like he always says, keep you abreast.
Oh, I've never heard that.
He says that all the time.
Does he?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to answer your question. He says that a lot. I like that. But I'm not going to alibi it. Can't alibi. Yeah, can't alibi that loss last night. And can't alibi the way you feel about it. The city is starved for a World Series championship. I mean, foaming at the mouth for it. And, you can feel it. You can feel it every single day. You can see it in the chat. Feel it when I'm out on the streets. Feel it when I'm at Little League. Feeling it when I'm picking up my kids from Adventure Camp. Adventure Camp Benny. We'll talk about in a second.
Is that this week?
I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Yeah. Bo went to Adventure Camp this week. He was at baseball camp last week. Adventure Camp this week. Did you go to Adventure Camp?
I've never even heard
Taylor
of
at gardening camp, farm
Taylor
camp?
had farm camp last week. He's back in school now. So they're in Somerset.
Do they follow maps to buried treasure? Or I've never heard of Adventure Camp.
I thought it's been around forever.
I don't know.
It's at the Ecke YMCA.
Okay. No, my kids didn't do it.
No, that's where I picked him up.
Yeah.
What did your kids do in the summer?
What did they do? A lot of swim lessons.
Swim
lessons were big
Huge.
for many summers, for sure.
Love that. So yesterday they played laser tag. They went to a laser tag place and had a great time. And today is bowling.
I'm always disappointed in laser tag.
Oh, it's pretty fun.
I guess I want it to look like the movies where the laser shoots out of the gun in like a beam.
It doesn't.
And you can see it.
It doesn't.
And it doesn't work that way with lasers.
It's not super accurate.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I played against a bunch of his friends.
I want it to be like a phaser on Star Wars.
Phaser,
where you hit the phaser and it just disintegrates the person.
Right.
Which, again, would be a safety hazard.
Correct.
Obviously, you don't want children disintegrating each other.
That's quite the adventure for Adventure Camp.
We had a family fun center that we would go to, and they had a laser tag area, like a course, and they had these little sensors hidden around there that you were supposed to shoot. That's how you got points.
Yeah, of course.
But the players also had this little thing that went over their chest that you could shoot and get points. And there would always be one kid that would just sit in a corner and just nail this one sensor for 100,000 points. And at the end of the thing, he would have zero
kills,
zero damage on other players or whatever, but he would have the number one score. And you're like, that's not how you play this game.
So he had bowling today. So as I'm tucking him in last night. Yeah, they went.
I don't know if that's
bowling.
an adventure, really.
Kind of. Anything with a bunch of kids going somewhere is an adventure.
Yes,
that's true.
So I said,
an adventure for the chaperones.
Yeah, I was tucking him in last night, and I go, hey, just remember, you're not a bowler. You've only gone bowling once. Chill out. It's not the Bowling World Series, okay? So I don't want to hear about any
tears,
flip outs or tears or anything else. It's that, dude, we played Uno yesterday when he got home from Adventure Camp, and I whipped his ass about 6 times in a row. And he looked at me. He's that kid. And I'm like, ooh, every sports documentary I've ever watched, ever, Jeter, Jordan.
How big of a fit? When
Tiger
you play
Woods.
the take 2 cards.
Let me finish my story.
Okay.
For Christ's sake. Every sports documentary I watch, every one. You agree with this? They're like, you couldn't even play quarters with this guy. If you flip quarters with this guy, he'd flip out if he lost. And I'm going, okay, well, these are all the GOATs. These are the great ones. They hate to lose. They hate it. It makes them so mad. And I'm like, oh no. I'm raising that kid who, again, 6 times in a row, I beat him in Uno. And he was like, furious. And I said, start practicing. He goes, how do I practice Uno? I go, I don't know. You got to figure out how to get better because your old man just mopped the floor with you. But I'm going to answer your question. When you drop 2, what's your question?
I said, does he have a fit? When you force him to
when
take
I'm dropping
cards?
2 and 4 on him, he's losing his mind.
Yeah.
Losing his mind. Can't stand to lose. So I had to literally have the pep talk with him saying, hey, you're not a bowler. I would understand if you get mad at yourself, if you boot a ground ball, you put in a lot of work, right? I can understand that. You don't bowl. So don't get in there today and start fights with your buddies because they beat you at bowling. Just go have fun. Just have fun.
Here's the problem. Yes, you're right. The GOATs like Jordan,
yes,
Tom Brady, they're all that ultra competitive, don't like to lose. But when you combine that attitude without supreme athletic ability, do you know what you get?
A jerk.
A giant a-hole.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
That's the problem, because
exactly
for every
right.
one Jordan, there's 1,000 guys who also have that attitude, but they never had the game to back it up. So they're just difficult to deal with. They're the guy you don't want to play in your Sunday league with.
Yep.
They just take it all too seriously.
They wear you down. Now, it's again, it's that thing. We were talking earlier about being a parent, right? And many parents can relate. I'd rather have this than the other way for now. As he learns how to win and learns how to lose, because everybody needs to learn to lose gracefully. And he's done so much better. He did so much better at Little League this year. So much better. Very, almost no tears. He was very supportive of his teammates, things like that. So that's good. And I think that benefits you in life. Like having that thing where I don't want to lose. I want to win.
No, I agree.
That's good.
And I want to, I care when I.
Did you just call my son backhandedly a huge a-hole?
No. I think you have to be careful not to take it to extremes.
Now you hate Taylor. Now you hate Bo.
Now you hate Bo too?
I think it's important. I care when I play golf.
Yeah,
I care.
of course.
I want to do well, but it doesn't define me. If I have a bad round, if someone beats me, good for them. Congratulations. I'm not going to let it destroy me the way the GOATs seem to let I can't lose, or I'm not the same. I'm not the man that I was before I lost. It's like you can't let it get that far.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I had to tell him. Hey, just relax. You just have fun. It's carefree. Be carefree. You're 7.
But now the people who are like, they have, we'll go out and just have fun, and there's no competitiveness.
See,
to it
I can't
all.
do that either.
I can't do that
I can't
either.
do it either. It's
something.
like I said, man, it is a fine line. And when you're parenting, you're trying to thread the needle every day of, do I coach this out of him or don't I? Don't I want him leading on the field? Yes. The answer is unequivocally yes. But what we've talked about too is I said you can't show your teammates up. And I've done it. It's hard. I did it at fantasy camp. I got chewed out by Mud Grant. In my defense, the guy was 87 years old playing first base. So I feel a little bit like I have a leg to stand on there. But I did. I showed that old man up. Now, he couldn't see me because he was 87 years old. He was blind as a bat and playing first base. So I do feel justified in it. Right, Paulie? Am I wrong here? You were also exasperated with it. You made the throw.
I was the one that made the throw.
I made the pitch. You made the throw.
Threw it right his chest. He olayed it and
Olayed it. He didn't even see it. He didn't even see it till it went past him.
I think he's still running down the right field line.
Maybe now we know where Bo gets this from. Just a little bit.
No, competitive juices are so hard to contain, even as an adult, dude.
It is.
I got my tier 1 basketball tonight. We're in the playoffs, so there's going to be a little intensity, but even we're in the lowest division. It is strictly like some cardio, fun cardio. It's a bunch of overweight guys trying to just have some fun. And yet, as soon as that ball tips off, I'll be ready to fight somebody.
But
if it comes down to it.
You can't be a hardo about it.
I know.
That's the thing. And I've gotten way better in my age of not being such a hardo about it. I never yell at umpires anymore, ever. Paul, I've coached.
Yeah.
We've had 4 seasons now, 3 seasons. Never yelled at an umpire, never said anything to another player. I've matured. It's taken a long time, but it happens. But I was wondering, this little time of life for him, being at summer camp all day, it doesn't get much better than that. Like this is like the best.
The tough part is if you get into it with an umpire in Sunday league, or if I get into it with somebody in a basketball court tonight.
Yeah, somebody's going to tweet it.
No, we're adults. We know how to manage those emotions.
Correct.
We're supposed to know how to manage those emotions and deal with the consequences. A 7-year-old, they don't know that.
They don't know. It's hard. He's figuring it out.
On a side note, I was never a big bowler. I just wasn't that great at it. But the bowling alley, though.
Wait.
Yeah, I was in a bowling league.
You were in an actual bowling league?
Yeah, for when 4th grade.
Really?
We were good.
As a kid?
Yeah, as a kid.
Really?
Wow. Yeah.
Well, but as a kid, I thought a bowling alley was
elite.
One of the most fascinating places.
Seedy.
I mean, the
jukebox, the cigarettes.
The ball return.
The ball return.
How does the ball get from the back of the pins? How do the pin setter and how it like automatically drops the pins down, and then the scoreboards that were up above projecting above you, like they sprayed all the shoes with the spray was fascinating. Bowling alleys were like secretly like magical kingdoms.
It was
when
like
you walked
little
in.
Disneyland when you were a kid, and
There was an arcade in there usually,
and a jukebox and a little separate bar area.
You weren't allowed in, but you could see the heavy drinkers who were in there.
It was great.
That was exciting to see that.
But I'm old enough, Paulie, to remember going to a bowling alley and having to know how to keep your score. And I've never understood the scoring of bowling ever.
Took me a long time to figure it out.
You know it?
I do.
You could actually do it.
I could do it without the electronic score card now.
There needs to be an app because I want to test you on it. Like I've never understood it. But then when it started to come up and you could type your name in and it would calculate your score, I was like, we have reached the pinnacle of human awareness, and this is the perfect thing.
It definitely opened up bowling to other people because there is a lot of math involved.
Lots.
Yes, to actually keep score in bowling. So, yeah, well, you get a strike. Obviously, what's that worth?
10.
Sort of. That's the problem with bowling.
See, you've already...
All right, quiz me. Come on.
So, a strike...
It's plus your next frame or something?
If you get a strike, you start with 10, but then you add the next 2 rolls to it. So, let's say you get 3 strikes in a row. That first strike is now worth 30. Let's say you get a strike and then a spare. Your next 2 rolls
is half.
So, then the first strike was worth 20. That's why 3 strikes in a row are so valuable, because you're getting 2 extra throws with all those pins. If you can get that second strike, that third strike is absolutely huge.
A turkey.
A spare, you get the next 1 throw. And so if you get a spare and then you throw a 7, then that one's worth 17. And that's why you have to throw those extra 2 at the end. Once you threw 10 frames, you get a strike. That's why you have the extra 2, because you may need to add to the end of your strike, your last strike,
that's
to
why
see
they
what
do
that,
that.
see what
Did
that
not know
that last strike is worth in the 10th frame. You need 2 more throws to give yourself the total for that last strike.
You really are a sports god for knowing it. Like that is, I've never met anyone.
12 straight strikes, and that means that each of the 10 frames are worth 30. You bowl a perfect.
Here's the
300.
thing: we could go bowling after the show in 3 hours today, and I'll already have forgotten. If we didn't have the electronic scorekeeping, I would have no idea. Be like, all right, something about 3 times 3. I don't know.
I just never could get. I never looked cool when I did it. My thing was always try to throw it as hard as I can, because
I threw a hard straight ball. I could not get the spin.
I like the sound when you just unload one. Don't save that. But I loved it, and so I hope he has a fun time today, and I hope it doesn't, end up in fisticuffs and tears.
Dude, when you talked about the scene of walking into a bowling alley, the only thing I could think of was like I think of the guy from Uncle Buck when they're bowling.
Pal.
Yeah.
Yes. They got a brand new Bronco parked outside.
You know how Mikey Varas said he has to smell the clubhouse, the locker room in soccer, the bowling alley, the smell, the wood, the beer, the cigarettes. There was an unmistakable and undeniable smell at a bowling alley.
Yeah, Leonard Skinner in the background. This is the greatest. There's nothing like it, dude. Nothing like it.
David says the giddy smile from Ben as he explained the bowling scoring. Absolutely the funniest thing I see this week.
No question.
That may have been my pinnacle of Bensplaining.
That was really good.
Getting to explain bowling scoring to everybody.
Well, I think we asked for it, so you explained it. That was not Bensplaining.
Yeah, that made it especially satisfying, because normally I Bensplain without any desire of anyone to get the actual Bensplaining I'm doing, but I finally got to Bensplain something by request.
God, I remember a time in high school or in middle school, early high school, where people would go to the bowling alley and steal the shoes and wear them out and wear them around like school. And
It's
I'm
no
like,
traction though.
Zero. It's flat. And I'm like, oh, cool. Look how edgy you are. Like, you stole bowling shoes. They look terrible, by the way. That's why they look that way, because they don't want you to steal them. Yes, that's why they look like clown shoes. And you now look like a clown because you stole them and you're wearing them.
Do they sell bowling shoes that actually have Like trend for you to wear around and not bowl in?
Was it
just because you want to
possible-
look like a bowler?
Let's say middle school or high school. We'll up the age just a little bit from 4th grade bowling league like Woodsy.
Yep.
Or 7-year-old Bo. Middle school, high school. Is there any way that you can be cool and own a bowling ball?
Yes. These days, yes. My day, no.
Okay,
No
I guess I'm
chance.
thinking back
Yeah.
when I
These
was.
days, absolutely. 100%.
Oh, you guys are going bowling. Yeah.
Bro,
let me run home. I'm gonna
these
grab my
days,
bag.
they think the guys that are cool sit on their computer all day and stream nonsense. And they're like, oh my God, let's give this guy $1 billion. Like,
didn't it look cool when the guy had the towel and was shimmying his
shimmy
ball
towel
that he owned that he brought with him and in his bag?
I love it. Yeah, I was in a bowling league. Our team was the Silver Wings. I don't even know what that means. I have no idea, but we won.
How'd you guys do?
We were good. We won a first place trophy and a second place trophy.
Do you know what the highest score you've ever gotten in bowling is?
Probably
Or ballpark it?
175.
Okay.
Yeah. Never broken 200. Never even sniffed 300. I think the most strikes I've ever gotten in a row is 4, and that was like panic inducing. I mean, that's like making 4 birdies in a row, and you're like, I'm dead. There's no way I'm going to make a 5th birdie. There's no chance. I've made 2 birdies in a row. I've made 5 pars in a row, but I've never. That's my extent. But 4 strikes in a row is pretty cool.
All right, this is Bowling Talk with Ben and Woods. We got to play Take on Woods, though, coming up next. You want to be our contestant, try to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. There's a few bowling alleys there. 833-288-0973. We'll play our musical trivia challenge coming up, and then Jesse Agler, the incorporator, voice of the Padres, will join us at the bottom of the hour. Stick around. More Ben and Woods on the way on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, if you want to bequeath your bowling ball or any other prized possessions, one way you can do that is by going to trustandwill.com. It's the way they've made your final will and testament or your trust for your family much easier than going to a lawyer's office and spending a ton of money and a ton of time. All you have to do is fill out, answer some questions online. It takes about 20 minutes, honestly. Woods and I both did it. And at the end, you have real legal documents that can protect your family's future.
Yeah, man. It's very simple to do, as we tell you every single day. Make sure you get a trust, right? Stay out of probate court. Don't know where Dominic is. He's usually in the chat letting everybody know. Definitely get a trust. It's absolutely necessary. But they make it so easy at Trust and Will. Just go to trustandwill.com. Use the code FAN when you check out, FAN. You're going to get 20% off of the entire package, and they're going to send you your estate documents for free. You get them, you throw them on the desk, you forget about it.
Go do it for yourself. Do it for your family, and do it for a little peace of mind, knowing that you've taken care of it and you don't have to worry about it in the future. Again, trustandwill.com, code FAN for 20% off, free shipping of your documents at trustandwill.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place.
Diego sports news before we get to take on Woods. The San Diego Wave just announced that they're going to be retiring the jersey number of 13 for Alex Morgan coming up on their Sunday, September 7th game at Snapdragon Stadium. Of course, she'll be the first number retired in club history. They've only been around about 4 years. So a worthy inclusion, though, certainly defined the franchise's first couple of seasons and will be a legend of soccer forever. And a very strong representative of the organization who's now one of the owners, I believe, of the team.
I like that because it's quick. Do it now. They always wait. We got to wait 3 decades before we retire somebody's number. No, if you know, put her in.
That means at some point in San Diego's future, we will have 2 number 13s retired in town.
Indeed. Yes, indeed.
I'm pretty sure we're not going to see anyone else wearing number 13 for the San Diego Padres. Manny Machado, 1,990 career hits after his home run yesterday.
I want to see it, man.
2000's coming up soon. I don't know that they're going to do it at Petco Park. I mean, he's only got 2 more games here before they go on the road.
5 for 5.
5 for 5 or 5 for 5 would be awesome. Otherwise,
come on.
You don't want to cheer against him on 6-game road trip. You'd like to see him get it, hot enough that he can get it either in Cincinnati or in Philadelphia.
Oh, he'll get it on the road where he'll be booed mercilessly as he always is.
There is a chance.
If he gets it done on Monday night,
there is a chance we could see it when we're in Philadelphia.
He'll have 3 guys rooting for him at least.
Pretty special for us. He'll have someone familiar in the crowd, at least if he gets it on the road in Philadelphia.
We're sitting real close to the visiting dugout on Monday night.
That would be so awesome. Okay, now I'm kind of cheering for that.
Yeah.
Because no one's cheering for him to go in a slump long enough to get it back to San Diego.
True, exactly. If he doesn't get it, if he waits till San Diego,
I want it on Monday, if not sooner. I want it on Monday when we're there.
I'd like it by tomorrow.
All right, let's get to today's game. It is time to play Take a Woods. Take on Woods brought to you by Bay Alarm, security and fire alarms for every business. We got you. And we've got our contestant today, once again, just for playing, is going to get a $50 Better Buzz gift
Nothing wrong
card.
with that.
Enjoy all the hot summer flings menu items at Better Buzz Coffee. And who are we going with today, Paulie?
Line 1 called in first.
All right, let's go with, is this Wyatt? Wyatt, are you there?
Yes, sir. This is Wyatt.
Congratulations. You've already won a Better Buzz gift card. Now, let's see if you can qualify for our grand prize trip to Las Vegas. 2 nights at the Resorts World Las Vegas, the spa package, and the resort credit to their elevated pool complex on the Strip. To book your summer stay, visit rwlasvegas.com. This is the tough part, though. You got to beat or tie Woods. So here are your categories today for Take on Woods. Wyatt, we've got MTV one-hit wonders. That's pretty self-explanatory. All White Now, 5 song titles that include the word white. And our new category, it's all 2-second songs called Time is of the Essence. Song titles that include the word time. So MTV one-hit wonders, All White Now, or Time is of the Essence. Wyatt, what would you like to play?
Let's go with one-hit wonder.
All right, MTV one-hit wonders. This category was actually submitted by Tier 1 Steve. Thank you. You've got 5 songs that were all early MTV music videos and all from one-hit wonders, bands that were really just known for the one song. You'll have 60 seconds to answer as many of the 5 as you can. If you don't know one, say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question is the 2-second song. Identify both the song title and the artist. No words in common, just one-hit wonders. Are you ready to go, Wyatt?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Wyatt. Let's take on Woods.
I heard you on the wireless back in 52.
Is that Video Killed the Radio Star?
By?
I can't think of the name.
All right, pass on that.
Now.
English musician Thomas Dolby put on his lab coat and recorded which signature hit in 1982?
She Blinded Me with Something.
Correct. Murray Head raps the lyrics for which unusual 1984 song that first appeared in the musical Chess? You might have a sweet tooth if you enjoyed the success of 1980's Bow Wow Wow cover of which song?
Pass.
A character from writer Edgar Rice Burroughs is the basis for which 1985 song by Baltimora?
Pass again.
All right, can we get the song title of the 2-second song or the artist?
Video Killed the Radio Star, The Buggles.
It is The Buggles. All right, Murray Head raps the lyrics for which unusual 19... All right, we got 2. We got Video Killed the Radio Star by The Buggles, and She Blinded Me with Science. Murray Head is One Night in Bangkok. Bow Wow Wow is I Want Candy, Sweet Tooth. And Tarzan Boy is Baltimora. I don't know. I feel like this is
Tough
maybe
category.
in Woods' wheelhouse, but we'll see.
Tough.
There's no commonality, so that makes it a little tougher. All right, Woods is back. Wyatt scores locked in. Let's put 60 seconds back on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Wyatt.
I heard you on the wireless back in 52.
Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles?
Correct. English musician Thomas Dolby put on his lab coat and recorded...
Science!
What's the entire title?
She Blinded Me with Science.
Correct. Murray Head raps the lyrics for which unusual 1984 song that first appeared in the musical Chess?
Is this One Night in Bangkok?
Correct. You might have a sweet tooth if you enjoyed the successful 1980s Bow Wow Wow cover version of which song?
Pass.
A character from writer Edgar Rice Burroughs is the basis for which 1985 song by Baltimora?
This category. What in the world?
Doubt you're going to get it.
He's been eating mushrooms and writing these categories, I think. I don't know. Edgar Allan Poe's Taint.
Edgar Rice Burroughs,
Oh,
not
I said
Edgar Allan Poe.
Poe's Taint.
You might have a sweet tooth if you enjoyed the successful... All right, you done?
Sugar Sweet Taint.
All right, you did get the win 3-2. Tier 1 Steve actually came up with that category. That was
Steve.
MTV one-hit wonders.
Man.
From the early 80s.
What's the Bow Wow Wow one?
I Want Candy.
Oh.
That's the sweet tooth was the key
I like
there.
that song.
And then Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote Tarzan Boy by Baltimora.
In a while.
Remember that one?
No. Barely.
Oh,
yes. I always wondered how they did that.
It's in that Listerine commercial.
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah. I thought that. I don't know. I was like, did they really do that with their voice, or did they alter that?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I remember that. I didn't know it was called Tarzan Boy.
Yeah.
No idea.
Tarzan Boy. All right.
Very good.
Brand,
That's a tough
Wyatt,
one.
stay on the line, though, because you still win the $50 gift card to Better Buzz just for playing Take on Woods. We'll come back with Jesse Agler, the voice of the San Diego Padres and the Incorporator. Going to join us coming up next here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. But right now, I want to talk about San Diego's best way to lose weight. So many Tier 1s have followed my lead and gone to sdfatloss.com and started the program. I have heard so many success stories. 20 pounds lost, 30 pounds, 40 pounds, 60 pounds, 90 pounds. Some people have really changed their life and forever because so many people keep the weight off with sdfatloss.com as well. You can do it during the summer. Not only are they still offering a $200 summer special, but they will coach you through all your normal summer temptations. You can have a couple of cheat days. You can do barbecue. Just make some good choices. Follow the program and still lose up to a pound of fat per day and 10 to 20% of your body weight this summer. Even going on vacation. I did a vacation during my weight loss. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days. I have kept the weight off for 2 years, and you don't do it with any exercise, injections, or hormones, and it's all real food. You don't have to buy anything from them. No bars or shakes or mixes or anything like that. Traveling, you can still do it on sdfatloss.com. Set up your free consultation. Go online. They'll hook you up with one of their great counselors who will tell you exactly how the program is going to work for you. At sdfatloss.com, results may vary.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
R97 Through the Fans brought to you by U.S. Wellness Meats. Top 10 must-haves for grilling season. 1, meat. 2,
meat.
3,
meat.
Lots of meat. Well, you get the picture. Grill the best-tasting meats on the planet from uswellnessmeats.com. New customers receive 20% off and will deliver right to your door for free.
Deliver what?
It just says will
Meat.
deliver.
Meat.
Oh, meat. Yeah,
Yes.
Meat.
You probably already met Jesse Agler, but we will reintroduce the incorporator and voice of the Padres right after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, a 15-minute drive-through oil change. Crash clear on northbound 5 before the 163. It's over to the left shoulder. Also an accident northbound 805 before Home Avenue. That's over to the left shoulder. South 805 near the 8, we have reports of some sort of debris in middle lanes. And southbound 15 before the 52, a bumper and some tire tread in the 2 right lanes. San Diego summers mean beach days, road trips, ball games. Make sure your ride's ready with Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Drive in, stay in your car, and be done in about 15 minutes. No appointment needed. For coupons, visit SoCalOilChange.com. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Yeah, next week at this time, we may be eating hot beef in the form of a cheesesteak.
Yes.
Hot when beef! We're in Philadelphia. I don't know if Jesse Agler realized it. We were stalking him across the country and following him at this point. Jesse, is that weird that we're going to be following you to Philadelphia next week?
No, I don't think it's weird. I
Okay.
think it's exciting. I'm glad for you guys
Thank
that
you.
you're going to be there, and I imagine there will be other Padre fans there, and I look forward to you guys getting the full Citizens Bank Park visiting fan experience, because it is an experience.
Expand, extrapolate.
I will say this. I love doing games there. But the reputation of the Philly fan is well earned. I don't think it is personal, but they do not want anybody in the opposing colors to feel particularly welcome in their yard. And I think it's great. Like, I don't hate it, but there is a very good, great, almost certain chance you're going to get some middle fingers. You're probably going to get some words thrown your way. Even if you're just wearing a Padre hat, like walking around the concourse, and it might come from a 9-year-old girl. It doesn't matter. And it's just, it's great. It's great. I mean, the stories that I've heard from a lot of the fans who were there for the playoffs in 2022 are just all time. Like you think like, oh, people just say this stuff about the Philly fans, but it can't really be true. Oh, it's true. It's true. And it's glorious. I love it.
Yeah, Tom Seidler told me yesterday that during the 2022 NLCS, he was there with his 5-year-old, and his 5-year-old learned some new words.
Oh no!
Yeah,
from Phillies fans. They don't discriminate based on age, Jesse.
No. They're not worried about who you are, or it's like if you're in that hat or that T-shirt or that jersey, you're going to hear something. But like it's almost playful. It doesn't sound playful, I don't think, but it's not personal. Like I said, they want you to make sure you know that this is not your house.
I respect it. I do. I'll also be in a Kyle Schwarber jersey, so it's fine. It's no big deal. Yeah, kick some ass. Manny looks up. He sees me rooting for the Kyle Schwarber and the Phillies. My God. I love
By
you
the way, you
guys.
look like you could be his brother now that you mention that. So people
Schwarber?
are going to be like, oh, yeah,
I'll
you're
take it.
cousins.
Not an
maybe.
insult.
Yeah.
I've heard worse.
No, not at all.
I've
heard
worse.
I didn't mean it. Kyle Schwarber's a very handsome man. He can hit the ball very far away. So,
Yeah, that I can't do. My wife actually loves Kyle Schwarber, so yeah, it does kind of make sense. Big teddy bear.
She's a type, yeah.
Yeah, she. Yes, baseball players is her type, and she got stuck with me. Jesse, talking to Jesse Agler here on Ben and Woods this morning. Kind of a flush, flush that one last night. Certainly loved the series win against the Royals. I really enjoyed that a lot. I really like watching the Royals too. Weirdly, they're a fun team to watch. It'd be a fun team to root for. Good players. But this one last night, just kind of looked at it and said, oh, this has been this kind of unraveling these weird big innings that are happening lately. Feels like that can't continue from a Mike Schilt coached team, right?
Yeah, and they're weird, right? Like no two seem to be identical. And yesterday, I don't like playing armchair psychologist, but it was like Stephen Kolek made the error, on the comebacker.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like it unspooled his entire night. And look, that wouldn't be the first time that that's happened to a young pitcher. You make a mistake maybe not related to pitching. All of a sudden, your mind is just maybe not right where it was a moment ago, and things get away from you. I mean, that's part of running out guys who don't have a ton of experience starting games at the major league level, is that stuff like that might happen. Now, look, maybe it was totally unrelated. Maybe it was circumstantial and just, it is what it is. But, I think there is a greater chance of an inning like that happening when you have a guy who doesn't have as much experience on the mound. Now, that's not to say I don't want to see Stephen Kolek out there every 5 days. I think he's done a very fine job, pretty much every time he's gotten the ball. So, it's one of those things you have to accept and deal with, and there's learning on the fly. And, it's my chutes and ladders analogy again. Stephen Kolek, Randy Vasquez, Ryan Bergert, whichever one of those guys you want to talk about, it's kind of the same story. There are going to be good days and bad days. There are going to be good innings and bad innings. They're going to be good at bats and bad at bats. And that's just kind of the reality of throwing out young guys who haven't kind of been there and done that.
Jesse, baseball is so unpredictable, yet sometimes it's not. And you threw out a personal theory on Sammy's pregame show yesterday. I was listening that I agreed with 100%. You qualified a little bit going, I don't know if I know what I'm talking about. I think you do know what you're talking about. And tell these guys in the tier ones kind of what you were saying about looking at a schedule and just kind of knowing when a team's going to struggle.
Yeah, it's one of my very unofficial theories. And I think what I said to Sam yesterday was, I don't know that I would bring this to AJ Preller or Mike Schilt for conversation, but I'll kick it around with you guys certainly. And it's that you could go back to January of this year, right? And before you even know, all the details of the rotation and injuries and who's going to be hot and who's not going to be, that you could have looked at this chunk of schedule, basically the month of June, and said, that's probably going to be a tough few weeks. And it has nothing to do with who they're playing. It just has to do with the literal calendar part of the schedule. So this is one of my, as I said, very unofficial, theories of baseball, and it counts for good teams, because bad teams, you throw it out. It is what it is. But for a good team, you obviously know that even for a good team, there's going to be a tough stretch. And I think you could just look at the calendar and the schedule and see the lack of off days and see the travel and say, you know what, probably not going to play their best baseball in this chunk of time. And, I think it's kind of played out that way. And look, as someone who goes to all the games and does all the travel, but obviously doesn't have the physical component of playing the game, I feel so worn down right now as we approach the end of this stretch. So I can't imagine what Manny feels like, or what Fernando feels like, or what Xander feels like, although he probably feels much better today than he did 5 days ago. It's the nature of the schedule It is the relentlessness of the major league calendar. And, this is why everybody goes marathon, not sprint. This is why we talk about, you can't make any grand proclamations, at this point in the season, because it's a gnarly stretch right now. And like I said, if we would have all been sitting down looking at the schedule together in January, I would have circled this period and said, that's going to be a tough stretch for this team. And I think it has been.
That off day is going to hit like crazy, isn't it?
In Cincinnati, yeah.
Ouch.
I guess I didn't think about that. In Cincinnati.
That's like the final kick in the pants right
final
there.
kick
It's
in
like,
the
oh,
rear
you're going to get an off day. Oh, what are you going to do? I literally don't know.
I'll sit in my hotel.
Probably good. Yeah, exactly.
Not leave and avoid some sort of insane humidity.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, it'll only be 92 and humid.
Oh God! You see, Ellie De La Cruz had to put his head between his legs the other night, in the middle of the game. He's like, "Hang on."
Did he throw up last week?
Yeah, he's like head down between his legs. He's like, hey, "It's brutal. I'm so sorry." Yeah, no, you're
It's
right.
like the whole country right now too, except us. Like we're so spoiled. It's
so
ridiculous.
spoiled.
We have the game time temperature, sponsor at the beginning of the broadcast. Lineage Watch Company, by the way, great San Diego company. And it's like, last night, I think it was 66 degrees at first pitch. And I was imagining the East Coast friends, fans, broadcasters, players driving home from their games. And they heard that, and they probably wanted to drive their cars off the side of the road.
Yeah, it's just,
because it was like one of the night games last night. I think the game time temperature back east was like 100 degrees at night. And it was like, oof, we're playing at 66.
I know the economics don't work, but if the Padres go, hey, Reds, we'll let you bat second. You want to come here and play that series
for real
in Cincinnati? How many would jump at the chance?
Sign me up.
Jesse, anyway, Padres, obviously, as you said, trying to get through this stretch of 26 games. Pitching is always the most important thing. And we saw Michael King throwing some balls on the field. I said earlier today, to me, that's the most important for the rest of the season. Getting Michael King back is the key for the Padres making a run and maybe making a playoff push. I don't see it necessarily happening without him. So I think that's what I'm looking at most closely as they go to the trade deadline.
I think that's fair. I think they can make the push without him. I do. I don't think it's a requirement, but obviously it makes it way, 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 way better. Emphasis on all those ways. But I do think, they've got like this stable of younger guys who have really done a nice job. I still think that if you're getting what you're supposed to get out of, Manny and Fernando and Jackson Merrill, you're going to be okay. And we really haven't seen those guys all click together, since the first few weeks of the season. And we all remember what that looked like. But there's no doubt, if you can get Michael King back healthy, looking like he did last year, it's an exponentially more dangerous team that would probably not be a fun one to face in the postseason. So, yeah, it would be huge. It was great to see him throwing yesterday. This is such a weird injury, such a different kind of injury. So it's been hard to, really understand any kind of timeline. But every time I've talked to Michael, in the last, month and a half, very upbeat, very positive. Certainly I think frustrated that he's not able to go right now and help the team. But he's got the mentality, the attitude, certainly of a guy who expects to be back sooner rather than later.
Benny, what's the number you said? If they win these next two, will they be
13 and 13?
13 and 13.
26,
okay, yeah.
Got to win these next two now to do that.
It's
not the 12 and 14 is the end of the world, but
right.
I would be impressed if they could get these next two and get to 13 and 13.
Me and you both. And the part of the reason I was so impressed, Jesse, by the win against Kansas City is, number one, they got some really good players, really talented players. But number two is coming off that emotional Dodgers series. We know how it was for the skipper. We know how it was for the players, for the broadcaster. How was it for you calling those games?
It was great theater, right?
Brilliant.
Like at the end of the day, we're in the entertainment business, and the more entertaining the game, the more fun and easy our job is, because, the sort of drama takes care of itself. You don't have to create any excitement. It's just all right there in front of us. And, they felt like playoff games, every one of them. And it was a ton of fun. It's exhausting, but in a good way, like not a complaint. You just have to be so locked in on every pitch. You have to really pay attention to everything, because you never know when all hell is going to break loose, as it did multiple times. And it was fun. And, when the benches cleared, and then, the next inning when Suarez hit Ohtani, my head was just like, bang, bang, look at Dodger dugout, Padre dugout, first base, home plate, like what's happening, because it's kind of like, all right, I don't want to miss anything that's going on. And, even just like the lesser things that happened in that series seemed big. And, the home run that wasn't, the home run that just barely was, like all that kind of stuff. So it was thrilling. It was thrilling. It is, it's hilarious to me if there's anybody who pays attention within this sport who doesn't think that this is the best rivalry in baseball right now.
Not close.
Because it's not even close.
Not close.
There is literally no other matchup that comes anywhere near this one right now.
Agreed.
And look, had the Padres not knocked them out of the playoffs in 22, I don't know that I could say that as authoritatively as I just did. But because of what happened in the postseason last year, because the Padres won the season series last year for the first time since 2010 or whatever it was, I can say with full sincerity that it is by far the best thing going in baseball right now.
All right, a few seconds left. Quickly the incorporator word, Paulie, if you would.
Tatterdemalion.
Tatterdemalion, Jesse, is a person.
Naturally.
Yeah, naturally. A person wearing ragged clothing. Example sentence: you've become a tatterdemalion like your father. You're a tatterdemalion. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck on that.
Kyle Schwarber, not a tatterdemalion.
No.
All right, Jesse, we will talk to you in a couple of weeks. We will see you in Philly. Thank you very much, as always.
You got it, guys.
All right, we can take a timeout. We'll come back. Final hour, Reindl Report, and more ahead with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Into Jesse Agler, the incorporator. Tatterdemalion is the word
Tatterdemalion.
he needs to
Does
incorporate
not-
into tonight's broadcast.
It doesn't fit.
Not really, no.
Tatterdemalion.
Now,
He'll do it. It'll sound
if
great.
you were like, if you were broadcasting a Bill Belichick game,
Yeah.
Bill Belichick is a tatterdemalion most of the time.
It's an adjective or a noun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a tatterdemalion. It's a tough one.
I do think that Jesse is right about, a baseball game is extremely unpredictable. The worst team in baseball can beat the best team in baseball. An ace pitcher is going to get lit up every once in a while. An individual game is incredibly unpredictable. A season is kind of predictable in certain ways.
Yeah.
How it's going to go.
I mean,
you know when the ebbs and the flows certainly could be coming, especially as Jesse said, for a good team. There are certain chunks of the schedule are going to be tougher than others, not just because you're facing tough teams, but the schedule just doesn't allow you to regroup at all. Bullpens get taxed and you don't get a chance to reset them because of a lack of off days. That's always going to hurt a team. And I think that's been part of the Padres, issues over the last 4 weeks. Games that they've lost, taxed bullpens have been part of it. Jason Adam, giving up some, leads that he doesn't usually give up. There's been instances that I would say that the schedule has contributed to the Padres' lack of success. Now, how you emerge from those is really important.
Yeah, I tweeted yesterday that their team bullpen ERA, despite all of the issues, as it were, top 4, and actually tied for 3rd. Tiny little point behind. A percentage point behind the Houston Astros at number 2, the Giants. Full run better than number 2, the Astros. Giants are 2.63 team bullpen ERA. Last night may have, this is before last night, so it may have gone up or down, gone up a little bit. But yeah, Padres coming in tied for 3rd at 3.29. That's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good, and that's really kept them afloat this season. Certainly the offense coming on a little bit as of late. Starting pitching has been okay at times, but fairly uneven. Really haven't gotten much from guys like Dylan Cease. Obviously, Yu's been out, King's been out, Pavetta's been a little uneven. I mean, this bullpen, for all its faults, pretty damn good. Pretty damn good.
Oh,
a lot of teams would trade places
been
with
the
you.
biggest strength that the Padres have had all season,
No doubt.
And I'll even throw Yuki Matsui and Wandy Peralta into the mix of guys who have helped the team more than they've hurt the team. Are they shut down relievers that you want to see coming in holding a 1-run lead in the 8th inning?
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of games where they've kept you, within 2 and done their job quietly. And you don't think about those games
because you see the blow-ups.
Because you just see the blow-ups. But they both have ERAs under 4.
Which is league average.
Which is, I mean, and they're your back end guys, and they there's plenty of bullpens that have a guy with a 7 ERA and a 6.5. The entire Nationals bullpen ERA is close to 6.
It's crazy, man.
And Padres saw their best guy at the end. They at least got the closer to have to throw a few pitches into the game, warm up, get hot. I mean, that could pay dividends the rest of the series.
It worked out.
Did that.
It worked out so well for them last night with Mitchell Parker being able to go 7.
You could see how afraid Dave Martinez was of going to his bullpen.
No question. When he left lefty for lefty against Crony, he's like, let me get this lefty on lefty matchup. Crony with a nice swing, hit it out for a bomb. But that's exactly what he was trying to do. But he got him pitched into the 7th inning. That's massive for them because their pen is terrible.
And let's be honest, Mitchell Parker got lucky that he made it that far.
He did.
The Padres
he absolutely did. They scorched
blistered
him.
the ball over the place, couldn't find enough holes. They could have knocked him out early in the game, and then you've gotten into the underside of that bullpen. Padres might have scored 17 runs if they had done that. Didn't work out. That's a baseball game. That happens.
Got to beat Trevor Williams today. You got to beat him soundly.
And Jesse said it perfectly. The problem was Stephen Kolek seemed like he got rattled by his own error and was unable to recover. And then you play the game where you're playing from behind and you're putting your own low leverage guys in, and they weren't able to stem the tide, and you lose a game like that. That's what happened. It was, that's on the pitching staff, Stephen Kolek, and the relievers that they brought in.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, Wandy's at a 3.82 ERA right now. So, I mean, again, rough outing last night notwithstanding, and had a decent little run. They're volatile. they're very volatile. Bullpens are volatile, and ours is no exception. But where they stand right now, definitely the strength of this team.
Coming up later this hour, we're going to be joined by our friend from the Padres, Jaclyn Lash, talk about some of the events coming to Petco Park this summer. So that means we're going to do the Reindl Report a little early here, Paulie, if you would.
I like
it. Get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah?
All right.
All right.
All right.
Happy Tuesday, gentlemen. Let's get started. A little baseball, little local baseball news. Congratulations are in order for Aztec for Life. Steven Strasburg, he was elected to the College Baseball Hall of Fame class for 2025.
Hell yeah.
That was announced yesterday. He is one of 21 going into this next class. There's
Seems
players.
like a lot, doesn't it?
I thought so
Big
too,
class,
but
yeah.
players, coaches, other pioneers of the game.
Keep your
etc.
speech short.
Yeah. I mean, you got 2 minutes, bro. That's actually. Let's get everybody on stage and everybody give a wave. Because if I'm someone in his life, I go, oh, how many people are going in with you? 20 others.
My guess
oh
is
my
he's
God.
he's the highlight of the class. I mean, I would think.
Yeah,
you
I
don't
think
get
so.
much bigger college baseball stars than Steven Strasburg was.
It bums me out. He was so dominant with the Aztecs. I got here in 2009, the fall of 2009. He graduated in the spring of 2009, so I just missed him. I had friends that were older, like one of my roommates in college. He worked for the athletic department or whatever, and he did like security at baseball games and basketball and football games. And he said Friday night Strasburg starts on the Mesa, were the hottest ticket in San Diego at a time. Like when he threw a perfect game, like he was must see baseball. And so that was back then for San Diego State. He was a first team All-America selection in 2008 and 2009, National Pitcher of the Year in 2009, set school records for most strikeouts in a game, 23.
Sus.
Most strikeouts in a season and most strikeouts in a career. Also holds the school record for lowest career ERA of 1.59.
If I remember correctly, that 23 strikeout game wasn't even one of his perfect game or no-hitter games that he threw. He actually did give up a hit in that game. I mean, he had so many unbelievable starts. He was really one of the greatest college pitchers. Paul Skeens is kind of the new, but Steven Strasburg would have been, social media wasn't quite as prevalent back then. He would have been absolute dynamo on the internet for his starts.
It doesn't factor in, I don't think, to your college Hall of Fame credentials, but his pro career, his debut was one of the greatest debuts, I think, of all time.
So much fun.
I'd have to go back and look. 2010,
2010,
I think it would have been. Yeah, he graduated in 2009, so then he got drafted that June, and he was up like the next summer.
He was nasty.
I mean, it was unbelievable. What do you have? 13 strikeouts?
Yep. So good.
First game. Unbelievable. So congratulations to Steven Strasburg. Elsewhere in Major League Baseball, a lot of activity on the transaction page yesterday, in particularly the New York Mets. We don't talk a ton of Mets baseball outside of when they're facing the Padres, but I thought they had some significant moves yesterday. Travis Jankowski was selected to their major league roster.
Oh, Freddie's back.
A couple of guys had to go down.
Francisco Alvarez, their big catcher that they've been waiting to, really come to fruition. Had to send him down.
I think everybody's really excited, though, in Mets land about their new pitcher that they signed. He signed a 1-year deal, major league contract. He was activated yesterday and able to play in their game. Richard Lovelady. By the Mets.
Yes. And he has let everyone know he wants to go by Dickie. Dickie Lovelady. Is he 6 years old?
Are his parents 6-year-olds?
Yes. Let's name him Richard. babe. Are you sure? I don't really want to do a bit with his name. No. Trust me. It'll be great.
Mr.
Dickie,
and Mrs. Lovelady.
Dickie Lovelady. Lovelady, by the way.
I'd have trouble. I mean, you meet a guy, I don't know, college, you're getting serious, you're thinking about getting married.
Right.
That if his last name was Lovelady, I might have think twice just about having to go down that road.
We were at the game.
I'll keep my maiden name. Thank you.
We were at the game the other night, and Mark Canna was on deck, and Hannah goes, "If I married him, my name would be Hannah Canna."
Julia Gulia.
Julia Gulia.
That's funny.
What's so funny about that? Julia Gulia.
Nothing.
All right. We all know the words. Shut up. It's the greatest villain. He's the best villain. What's his name? From Wedding Singer. What's his name? Glenn.
I was gonna say Gus. It started with a G. Yeah,
Glenn
Gulia.
Elite.
Glenn Gulia. So Julia's name is gonna be Julia Gulia.
That's funny. Why is that funny? No, it's not. Dickie Lovelady goes down in the annals of some of the greatest baseball names of all time. Ben, you have some other funny baseball names. These are their names.
Some favorites, of course, over the years, like Stubby Clapp.
Turn my mic off and your mic off, Paul.
Trey McNutt. Charlie Furbush. Rusty Kuntz.
Oh, that's dangerous.
There's some old timers too. It's Johnny Dickshot. Jack Glasscock. Boof Bonser. And of course, Pete Lecoq.
One of my favorites.
All right. Well, I got some work to do later.
Yes, you do. Dickie.
Richard Lovelady.
Richard call me Dickie Lovelady. They were their booth of Keith Hernandez, Gary Thorne,
Jeff Passan,
and who's the other one? It's
Howie Rose. Jeff Passan said, "I cannot wait."
That's it. Yeah,
to hear Howie Rose and Gary Cohen try to say Dickie Lovelady with
Gary
a straight
Thorne?
face.
Did I say Gary Thorne?
He's the hockey guy,
commissioner.
Yeah,
former commissioner.
Oh, that's right, Gary Thorne. No,
no, he calls hockey.
Gary Cohen.
Gary Cohen. Ron Darling. Yeah. They're going to have some fun with Dickie Lovelady, as they should, because life is short. Have fun and laugh. It's okay. Trust me. It's just baseball.
Oh, man. Finally, Florida man back in the news. I don't know how guilty Florida man is here. Let's see. Maybe a Florida woman might have at least a share of the blame for this latest story.
Today is actually, Paulie, National Relationship Equity Day.
Okay.
Well,
so we're going to share the blame.
Some equity.
Now, Florida man is in trouble because a 44-year-old in Davenport, Florida, he was arrested. This was earlier this month. He's facing charges after cops say that he broke into a vacant home.
Okay.
So on June 9th, the police in Davenport got a call from the homeowner's neighbor. Homeowners were out of town on vacation, and the neighbor was watching the house while they were away. And it says here that the neighbor saw lights turning on and off in the home. Definitely somebody in there. So he called the cops, or he called the homeowner. Then they called the cops, and the cops showed up to see what was going on. And they found a 44-year-old man by himself making dinner. Like, not a squatter, I guess technically
a squatter.
Broke in, but he was just making dinner. They said he had just finished filling up the bathtub. He was going to take a nice bath. He admitted that he did not have permission to be in there. He did not know the homeowners. He broke in. He just didn't want to go home because he had a big fight with his wife. He had been in this home for 4 days.
You ever hear of a Days Inn? Hampton Inn, perhaps. Hilton Garden.
Facing multiple charges, including a felony charge for unarmed burglary. And there's no word on whether or not his wife was the one to bail him out or how angry she is now at him.
I mean, if he's taking good care of the house, like cleaning up after himself.
A lot of people pay for that. Like
basically a house sitter.
A house sitter.
Right. Doing it for free for you.
What's the other word I'm looking for? A caretaker.
Deterring thieves, because I'm turning the lights on and off. That's what you have you pay someone to do that when you're not there.
I'm keeping real squatters from here, like heroin addicts and stuff. I'm keeping like the.
He's like, I'm cleaning everything.
I'm making
up.
myself a nice spaghetti carbonara, doing the dishes, and then taking a bath.
I'm going to bed.
I'll do some laundry, do the sheets, keep everything nice, dust around the house.
I just want some peace and quiet that I can't get at home. I feel like this guy might be a little bit innocent. I'll put some money on his books. I don't think he really did anything wrong. I really don't. I don't think he did anything wrong.
He just didn't want to go home to an angry wife, so he just broke into a home.
Bro, we've all been.
We don't have
for
any comments from her, right? Like,
nothing.
Was she wondering where he
Miami
was and like just didn't care? Like,
I mean, I walked in yesterday, and I heard some rustling about in the kids' rooms, and I went, "What's going on back there?" And I walked back, and I was on our hands and knees pulling clothes out of every drawer was open, the closets were open, hangers were being ripped off, and I poked my head and I go, "Hi, babe." She turned around and looked at me and she goes, "Yeah, I'm on one." And I go, "All right, see you later." And I walked into my bedroom and shut the door.
You broke into your neighbor's home.
I broke in my neighbor's house.
Reorganizing to
empty, like cleaning out the old clothes to make room for new clothes and just getting rid of.
On one. Send her over to my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get some work done.
Yeah.
We did the toy clean out, the book clean out.
Oh, yeah, I
did the pantry clean out and the fridge and freezer this weekend. And so I'm like, I came home yesterday also, and I go, "Why is my suitcase out?" She goes, "I went ahead and got it down for you." I go, I'm not leaving until Sunday." And she's like, "Well, it's down and it's ready for you to pack whenever you're ready." I'm like, "All right, bro, I'll just back up." I just slowly back up out of the room and say, "Hey, you're doing a great job.
This is a dream.
You're doing a great job."
Love this.
It was, but the look she shot me. It was like if you walk in a room and your kid has done something he's not. But she like turned and looked at me real
I'd
quickly.
be standing there with the empty trash bag, just
waiting.
Just put it in.
Put it in.
Put it in. I'll throw it in the trash. I'll come back with another one.
I offered to help, like take the stuff down to the donation
resale
place.
or donation.
She goes, "I'll do it."
Goodwill.
She goes, "I'll just do it." I go, "Okay, all right. Well, let me know if you need anything. Love you. Great job. Keep it up."
Doesn't sound like you had to do much.
I didn't. I didn't.
Not bad.
I did
It's
nothing.
not bad.
I went and took a nap. It was exquisite.
Not bad at all. Thank you, Paulie.
Hey, no problem.
All right. We got game 2 of the Padres Nationals series. A lot on the shoulders of Ryan Bergert. We'll look ahead at the matchup. Then our friend Jaclyn Lash from the Padres going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Stay tuned. More Ben and Woods coming up after traffic here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
If we've said it once, we've said it probably about 10,000 times at this point. But 7 Mile Casino is the place you should be playing cards. If you enjoy California-style blackjack, Texas Hold'em poker, Pai Gow, or Baccarat, you're not going to find a better place in San Diego. Heck, you might not find a better place ever. I haven't seen another card room right there on the coast with views of San Diego Bay. It is absolutely exquisite, upscale, friendly, and a great atmosphere for playing cards.
Absolutely, man. And obviously the best part is that it's just 7 minutes from downtown San Diego. So you don't have to do a big, long drive and park in a big garage and walk into a smoke-filled environment. You just go park, walk smack dab into a California-style blackjack table. You're going to get the best food. You need the best dealers, the friendly people, beautiful view out from the patio as well.
And it's one of San Diego's only 24/7 options. If you are looking for entertainment, if you are looking for something to eat, if you want something to drink, they are always open. You can go find a great game at 6 a.m., at 2 a.m., at 3 in the afternoon. Whenever you're feeling like it, check it out today down the 5 freeway in Chula Vista. 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Paulie, I'm pretty sure that text you got is a scam, buddy. And take it from me.
You
Nobody
think?
knows scams better than your old
I don't
pal
know,
Woodsy, man.
They made a pretty convincing argument.
Pretty compelling case. He just got one of those DMV.
I already deleted it and reported it as spam, so I can't read it. But it was, like the Seattle, Washington DMV. They need a lot of money. They're not doing very well, I guess.
Toll violation.
Yeah, there was a link to go
All
pay my
kinds of
fines.
things,
Yeah, just click on it.
Yeah.
Enter your credit card info.
I drove in Seattle about 16 years ago. So maybe that's just they're catching up
with
on
you.
some late work. Yeah.
I just assume everything is a scam now, and I'm almost worried that at one point something won't be a scam and I will miss it because I'm just assuming it's a scam at this point. I get so many scam emails. I was surprised. I just found out you didn't get this one. You haven't been invited onto podcasts for a nice fee to be compensated for your time.
Now that's one that I would fall for, hook, line, and sinker. Yes,
I was invited by a Charlemagne the God to appear on his podcast.
That's a massive,
That's a huge podcast.
I know.
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club. That's the one. Yeah, our
my
podcast is.
God.
We're thrilled to have you as a guest. Your insights and experiences will be a perfect fit for our audience. Yeah, right.
In what
I would pay him
believe your-
$5,000 to hear you on the Breakfast Club.
We believe your perspective would add tremendous value to the conversation. Our podcast is hosted online, so joining us is simple and convenient. If you're interested, we'd love to work with you to schedule a time that fits your calendar. And as a token of appreciation for your time and contribution, we are offering a compensation of $4K US dollars.
Wow.
4K US dollars.
No one ever writes anything. We're offering you $4K US dollars.
$4,000 for the exposure of going on the bread. I mean,
Wow,
that's like the number
that's
one,
incredible.
one of the number one shows on Sirius.
I think they do target TV people because I've heard a couple of other people in my newsroom talk about this and is that real? And I go, no, it's not. You're not being offered $4K US dollars.
Get your thoughts on like Drake versus Kendrick. Cardi B announced a new album coming out later this year. Maybe you can have some thoughts on that. I think it's a great opportunity and it's good for the Ben & Woods brand.
Yeah. I want to find a way to reach out to Charlemagne the God to let him know this is happening and they're using your name. B, is there anything I can do for you to have him on your show for his expertise?
Yeah, where do you guys tape? New York? Cool. He'll be on a plane tomorrow.
It's done. It's a phone call away.
I'm assuming.
Please get on the Breakfast
I'm assuming
Club.
if I
Oh my
follow.
God. Oh my God.
It's not.
Oh my
It's a scammer. It's not the Breakfast Club.
But even like if I called him and said, "This, they're using your name," it would be funny if you put
I'm
my
sure
co-host
they know
on.
at this point. It's a wide ranging scam.
What would you do on the Breakfast
I don't
Club?
know what I do.
You'd panic. I'll tell you that right now.
For sure.
I'll tell you right now.
The world's most dangerous morning show. Jess, Charlemagne the God, DJ Envy.
Yeah. Angela
I mean, they have
Yee.
2.5 million followers on their Instagram account.
They're like, and now we welcome
Ben Higgins.
Ben Higgins. It would be the greatest thing of all time. Of all time.
I'm assuming that to collect my $4,000 fee, they're going to need my
You need
credit
your
card
card.
information.
Yeah, just to hold something.
Bank account info for a wire transfer.
Oh my God. Ooh, yeah. You reading raps on the Breakfast Club, that may be it. Paulie, wheels in motion. Adam knows people.
Yeah.
Wheels in motion.
Adam
some
Paul
connections
says,
over at
who is
Sirius?
Charlemagne the God? It's not Charlemagne the God. It's Charlemagne the God.
Wow, man. I would do anything.
Yeah.
Anything at all. Just to watch him, to film it, to have a whole documentary on Ben goes on. What's the name of their morning
The
show?
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club. Anything.
Yeah.
And just me in the background laughing and pointing through the glass. Like, you're dead. You're dead. You're going to die in
He
there.
just checks in at the front desk of Sirius.
Hi, I'm Ben
Like,
Higgins.
we have nothing on the books here for you.
Just
no,
incredible.
I'm here to speak with Mr. the God.
Mr. the God or Mr. Charlemagne. I've never gotten those. That's weird. I don't get those at all.
either.
Yeah,
Interesting.
they get a ton of them.
Interesting.
Almost weekly.
That's that TV aura.
A TV aura. Well, they know that they're insecure, and
I think that is true.
They reach
Yeah.
out. Yeah, that's true. Jeff Passan came out with his new list of the 50 trade targets that he feels are most likely to be moved. People looking to upgrade, and the percentage of chance that they go, and of course the teams that are rumored to be in the mix. The Padres are in about half of these. Literally about half of them.
We will give you some of the names.
Yep.
In our final segment, we will also be joined by our friend Jaclyn Lash from the San Diego Padres to talk about some of the events coming to Petco Park. All ahead with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Well, speaking of events that are important to me, my friends, first of all, let me tell you about the great work that they're doing over at Sedano Ford in La Mesa. The local veteran-owned dealership, my friend Manny Sedano, going to get you in the car or truck of your dreams. But this is pretty solid. They're doing this, and it starts tomorrow. It is there, Sedano Ford Blood Drive, right there at the dealership in La Mesa. Come out, donate blood, give blood. It's very, very important to get that done. The community needs it desperately, as you know. And obviously, when you're there, you can check out all the incredible deals that they have for you. Again, talking about getting you in the car or truck of your dreams. Nobody does it better than these guys. Just a couple of examples for you. The Ford F-150 STX Super Crew cab, powerful, dependable, ready for anything. Just $299 a month. And, of course, the Ford Bronco Big Ben, rugged, reliable, and sharp, just $271 a month. You can see all of the information at sedanoford.com. Once again, sedanoford.com. But tomorrow, make sure, if you are in the area, right there in La Mesa, stop by the dealership, Sedano Ford Blood Drive. It's happening tomorrow at Sedano Ford. You're going to love it, man. Even if you're not in the market for a new car and you may be in a year, at least stop by, donate some blood, and maybe check out the inventory and all the killer deals they have there at sedanoford.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Into the Managers Report with Mike Schilt this Friday, 9 a.m. here on Ben and Woods. Managers Report is refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Padres will be on the road on Friday. Mike will be calling us from Cincinnati. But when the Padres are on the road, you know they like to keep Petco Park busy. And this summer is jam-packed with a bunch of different fun opportunities, concerts, different events that are coming up, and we always like to keep up to date on what's happening here in our backyard. So joining us once again is Senior Vice President for the San Diego Padres, Jaclyn Lash, back with us here on 97.3 The Fan. Jaclyn, it's always good to have you on. Good morning.
How are you? Good morning. Thanks for having me back.
It's our pleasure. Now, we would get dragged over the coals if we didn't put your feet to the fire. So,
right, yeah.
How is the trade market shaping up, Jaclyn?
I know. I wish I could be interesting for you guys.
Well, listen.
Instead, I'll talk concerts.
Well, I'm the concert guy on the show, so I'm always interested in what you guys are doing because you do such a great job over there. But are you prepared? Really prepared for what's the Savannah Bananas bring when they come to Petco Park, Jaclyn?
Dude, it's so wild.
Wild.
It's like, it is wild. I mean, we've had all different kinds of artists. We've had Taylor Swift, we've had Paul McCartney, but the Savannah Bananas seems to be attracting more attention than anything, which is really crazy. But we're super, super excited about it and glad that they're going to be here September 5th and 6th at Petco Park.
Incredible.
Are we anticipating sellouts for those games?
Oh, dude,
I mean, I know they've been selling out.
They're selling out like 100,000 seat football.
It's pretty crazy.
People are. My wife is losing her mind because she's in the lottery, and I go, babe, I have no pull here, none, zero. So it's going to be bananas. It's going to be bananas is what it's going to be. I'm hearing from people in other markets, friends of mine that took their kids and stuff, and they go, dude, we were in we waited to get in, and he said it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the whole process to get a ticket is you have to go through a lottery system, and then they choose who gets to purchase tickets. But lucky for you guys, we're giving away 2 tickets today to our listeners.
Let's go.
So yeah, super happy to be able to do that. So give away 2 tickets today.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. All right, well,
Hannah Nancaro Woods. It's 833-288-0973.
These are for tier ones.
My wife is a tier 1.
Don't call right now. We will let you know how you can be like the first person in San Diego to win tickets to the Savannah Bananas. But that's not it. I mean, there are other events coming to Petco Park. Woods, you mentioned concert guy. I know Counting Crows is coming. That's one that you probably be interested in.
I've never seen him. Would love to see him.
What else is coming up, Jaclyn, this summer at Gallagher Square?
Yeah, I always love to hear which concerts Woods wants to come to. It always makes me excited. Like, I know you guys love Deftones and all of that. But yeah, we have a ton of shows out in Gallagher Square this year, more than we ever have. We have Iration coming, so if you're into that, that'll be great on July 20th. Teddy Swims. We have Blues Travelers, Pixies, Nathaniel Rateliff. So all over the board. So that's what's really exciting about Gallagher Square is we're able to book all different kinds of genres. whether it's 90s, reggae, pop, you name it. And it's great for San Diego, to be able to have this first-class venue right in Petco Park in the middle of downtown. So we're really fortunate. To hear more about those different concerts, go to padres.com/concert.
And the Dinner on the Diamond is coming up as well. To me, that's the black tie affair of the summer in San Diego. And there are still a few tables and seats available for that coming up on July 3rd.
Yeah, you guys, that event is so wild. It's like we transform Petco Park into, like you said, a black tie affair. It's a ton of fun. We have T.I. performing this year, so a little throwback. But it's really great because you're able to purchase a table and sit with one of our players. So it's really, the only opportunity that you have to be able to sit down and literally have dinner with your favorite player. And what's great is all the proceeds from the event go to the Padres Foundation and the Peter Seidler Legacy Project. So, again, really special event that we have here. It's on July 3rd. And if you want more information on that one, padres.com/dinner.
Benny, who would you want to sit with?
Ooh, they all compete against each other to dress so nicely during the event. I think I'd probably want to sit
I
with
would like
Manny
to
and
see what
Nana.
you guys would wear.
I would just wear a tux.
Yeah, we look good in a tux. We'll show you the picture.
No colors, like a blue tie.
No. I did a white tux.
I did black. I did traditional.
Yeah, we did an event earlier in the year. We dressed up and actually we cleaned up pretty nicely.
Not bad.
Yeah, not too shabby. But
Not bad.
I'm sure you guys do.
I would ask to sit with Schilt just to make him insane for the whole time. He's like, anybody you could have picked, and you give me this.
Michael
Yahoo.
and Sheila King.
Oh yeah, it would be
nice.
great.
I think a nice table to sit with. And again, I mean, it's not. This is a pricier event, but again, it goes for a good cause.
Yep.
The Peter Seidler, the Foundation, Padres Foundation, and the Legacy Project.
You won't regret it.
It is a very unique opportunity. Great dinner, too, with Michelin-starred chef Drew Deckman doing the food and the tables that will be out there. So, yeah, if you've got the means, this is definitely something to take advantage of, Jaclyn.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I get to go as part of my job, and it's literally one of my favorite events of the year because, again, it's really special, it's unique, but then also it's for a great cause.
Love it.
All right, so people are going crazy for the opportunity to win Savannah Bananas tickets. Word has come out on high, Jaclyn. We're going to make this official. So we're going to do it tomorrow on the show, if that's okay. So Jaclyn's
totally
they're Jaclyn's tickets, but we are going to give them away tomorrow. So you got to listen in tomorrow morning to Ben and Woods. We'll tell you how you're going to win them. I know this is probably a little self-serving for us as well, but you do have to come back
a little bit
tomorrow for your chance to be the first to win the Savannah Bananas tickets, courtesy of Jaclyn Lash and the San Diego Padres coming to Petco Park. Jaclyn, it is always good to catch up with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for the tickets.
Thanks for having me, you guys. Have a great day.
Okay,
she is Jaclyn Lash, Senior Vice President, Special Events of the San Diego Padres. All right, you just teased a bunch of names that the Padres are matching up with on the trade market. From Jeff Passan, we will take a look at that in our final few minutes here, coming up after traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, your 15-minute drive-through oil change. We are wrapping up on a pretty good note here, guys. No incidents or accidents to report, and really not a lot of brake lights. You're pretty much full blast out of Santee on that westbound 52. San Diego summers mean beach days, road trips, ball games. Make sure your ride's ready with Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Drive in, stay in your car, and be done in about 15 minutes. No appointment needed. For coupons, visit SoCalOilChange.com. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
This hour in Ben and Woods brought to you by Staples. All right, so this is now full-on trade proposal column season from all the national writers. We started it a couple of weeks ago with some early ones, but once Jeff Passan jumps in, things are starting to get serious. And Padres are connected to just about half the names on this list, Woods.
Yeah, it's Kylie McDaniel and Jeff Passan, and this is it. This is every year. We kind of look forward to this. It also drives you a little bit crazy every year as well, because you let yourself dream. I mean, when we heard the rumors of Jaren Duran a couple weeks ago, we wouldn't shut up about it. So I think everybody is the same way. Jaren Duran is number 2 on the list, 25% chance of trade. San Diego still mentioned. The number 1 And I think they're just going by, I don't know what they're
quality
going by.
of player, I think, is how they're ranking them. But
are you sure?
Players are ranked by value for their new team if traded, not likelihood of being dealt.
Okay, so Alex Bregman, number 1, 10% chance.
But only a very low chance he's traded.
Yep. I mean, he's got $40 million salary this year, chance to opt in for 2 more years at $40 million annually. That is a big, big deal. Shortens the list of teams that would actually be in on it. Padres they don't need a third baseman right now. But Jaron Duran, Sandy Alcantara is mentioned. Padres, also the Dodgers.
60%.
The Dodgers are mentioned in quite a few back-end arms. And some of the best ones that are mentioned are guys like Emmanuel Clase. Now, 20% chance of being traded. God, I can see him there. I really can, and it makes my stomach churn. Felix Bautista from the Baltimore Orioles, Dodgers as well.
Doesn't really worry me that much. Padres can't seem to hit any of the relievers they have already. So if they want to spend more on other relievers that the Padres also can't hit.
Well, that doesn't help you, though, at all, because, we were talking about this at the break, and they can trade, like, they have so much capital, like literal capital and prospect capital. They're fine. You need them to get fleeced. And the only way they get fleeced is a guy comes in and blows out his arm.
But I also
or
think
something.
that every guy the Dodgers pick up is someone that another wild card contender is not picking up.
Yeah, but if you want to win the World Series, you're going to have to beat those guys at some point. I would imagine.
Someone does.
Someone does.
It doesn't always have to be you.
Pete Fairbanks has one of the highest chances of being traded, 60% chance, and he has mentioned the Dodgers as well. Obviously, the Phillies need some help as well. Detroit, Atlanta, Arizona, Texas. Aroldis Chapman mentioned. Luis Robert, 90% chance of being traded. San Diego, Philadelphia, Cleveland, New York Mets, and San Francisco.
Followed closely by Taylor Ward,
45%
San Diego, once again, the top name mentioned along those lines. So, yeah, some pitchers, a lot of outfielders on this list, and a lot of people still connected to the San Diego Padres.
Adolis Garcia, 80% chance of being traded from the Texas Rangers. His numbers have fallen off a little bit, but they do make the point. He's been about the 17th most unlucky hitter in the big leagues this year. He's got another year of team control, so you could have him for this year and next, so a year and a half. San Diego mentioned there.
I'm a little surprised that there are no Padres on this list, even with a small percentage chance.
Not one.
Would you say, isn't there a 10% chance that Dylan Cease gets traded?
10. Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to put 10% for Alex Bregman, I think it's only fair that you throw out a 10% chance for Dylan Cease. If the Padres struggle and Michael King and Yu Darvish don't come back over the next month, I think there's at least a 10% chance. You got to think about, getting something for a guy who's going to be a free agent, but he didn't even make the list. That's how sure the national writers are now that AJ Preller is a buyer, not a seller.
Yeah.
I'm still in buy mode. I'm looking at some of these names, especially in the top part of their list. I mean, Seth Lugo, 40% chance of trade. San Diego is on the list of best fits.
Boy, I would
is there
welcome
a deal
him back
to bring him home.
I would welcome him back.
Nick
30%
Martinez,
chance of
65% Padres Dodgers on the list.
30% for Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly.
Can you imagine?
7, 8, and 9 are all Diamondbacks on this list, by the way. Gallen, Kelly, and Naylor.
They're in a tough spot because Corbin Carroll's going to be out. Got hit on the wrist, fractured his wrist.
Suarez left the game. Naylor left the game yesterday.
Yeah, so they're Corbin Burns being out for this year and next. Like, what do you do?
They've lost both of their big Corbins?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, both of their big Corbins. What do you do?
They're not playing bad ball.
No,
I mean,
and Hazen's a really smart GM too. He's a really smart GM. But look at the names on that list: Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Eugenio Suarez. Those are big names. And if they feel like they can retool and depending on the severity of Carroll's injury, maybe it's in the best interest. And
that makes it a hell of a lot easier when you're able to at least just look at all the injuries and go, it's just not happening. It's not in the cards for us this year. Let's restock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Going to be really interesting. Really interesting.
Sandy Alcantara, 60% chance of trade.
Yep.
And Freddie Peralta on that list.
That blew me away too. I mean,
20% chance.
He's got an option, or he's under contract for $8 million next year. Do what you have to do to get Freddie Peralta here.
Yeah.
Natural fit.
I saw Jim Bowden made a Sandy Alcantara trade proposal.
It's the worst thing that you have ever. Oh, God. It's the worst trade proposal. This is
Padres
worse.
Acquire right-handed pitcher Sandy Alcantara from the Marlins for catcher Ethan Salas, and shortstop Leo DeVries,
and
right-handed pitcher Humberto Cruz,
and
right-handed pitcher Braden Nett.
Yeah.
Now, you do have control over Alcantara for next season and a fairly affordable $21 million team option for 2027. So, I mean, if he wins Cy Young Awards the next 2 years, yeah, you might think that that's but that's still an insane price tag.
There is no
for a guy coming off Tommy John surgery who looked really horrible until his last few starts. I mean, I would be irate if the Padres gave up that much.
I would be
for Alcantara.
Livid. Now this, if this is Sandy Alcantara from 3 years ago, whatever, all right. With 5 years of control, okay, fine. Now, forget it. You'd be lucky to get 2 of those guys. I mean, it is insane. They have to trade him. They do not want to pay him. They don't want to pay. I don't think they have to. It's club options. I think
they're good. They get a club option for 2027.
But they got to get something for him. They got to get something for him.
Well, they're not going to win in the next couple of years.
They're not going to win.
They're nowhere near winning.
No.
So, yeah, the incentive to trade him is very high.
Yeah. But you're not getting that.
No.
I'll text AJ Purge. He would laugh at that offer. Nett and Cruz are 2 of the – I was texting with our buddy David J last night about these guys. Studs.
That's like more than you gave up for Juan Soto.
Correct. Yeah. That's exactly right. That's not happening again. That is not happening again. I'm speaking that into existence. You hear me? I'm speaking it. It can't happen again. That would be not for him.
Morning, guys.
Listen, it's too much, but I don't know. We're still kind of reading this list, Ben. I go, oh, the trade market's going to be juicy. What's the percentage of those 50 even being moved? With 4 of them, 5 of them, 6 of them? So many teams at the trade deadline end up holding on to guys because they have this sense of false hope. Maybe we're going to be one of those teams. Maybe we're going to be one of those teams with false hope. I have no idea. But you notice, like you said, not one Padre mentioned on there, leading all of us to believe that, this team's going to be buyers.
Padres kind of need this one tonight.
I'd say so.
Trevor Williams, welcome back to San Diego.
Welcome back, Trevor.
Hopefully it's not a warm, happy return for you.
Well, you could have a nice outing, and we still win.
All right. Well, Ryan Bergert has been fantastic so far.
Keep growing.
You always worry that, every young guy is going to have a clunker every once in a while. Let's not make it tonight, though, and give the Padres a good chance to win this game, even the series, and have a chance to take the series tomorrow and finish that stretch of 26 games in 27 days with a 13-13 record. But you got to get tonight to have that chance. It'll be a 6:40 first pitch here on 97.3 The Fan with a 5:40 Eco Water SoCal pregame show with Sam Levitt to get you ready for all the action. I would love to see more at-bats like we saw last night. You keep putting together at-bats like that, Padres will score some runs, and they will have a chance to win these games, especially if Ryan Bergert pitches like he has the last few times out.
Keep us in it, man. Keep us in it. You got your high-leverage guys tonight. Should you need
no
them.
more of that inning.
More of that inning. Let's not have that meltdown, wheels come off inning. Clean it up and go out and beat a team that you should beat and a pitcher that you should beat.
You know what? James Wood, fine. He's going to get a hit or two. The guy's good. Don't let Lyle and House and
Bell.
Who are these other people at the bottom of the lineup?
You can't just make up names.
No. I think they were actually in the Nationals lineup and actually hurt the Padres last night. All right, that's it for us. Braden's coming up next for Paul Reindl, our executive producer, and Stephen Woods. I'm Ben Higgins. Big League Wednesday tomorrow. Mike Cameron, former Padre Mariner.
8:35.
Going to be with us at 8:35. Looking forward to that. Stay tuned. And Savannah Bananas tickets to give away tomorrow as well. Right here on 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.